Cardinals head coach Cliff Kingsbury confirmed wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins will not play in Monday night's wildcard game against the Rams coming off knee surgery. I'm Eddie Garcia.
Wake up, Lincoln.
Come on, it's 6 o'clock. Rise and shine, rise and shine.
It's time for Early Break with Sip and Jake, brought to you by Gaina Trucking. Live from the Coppel Chevrolet GMC studios in the heart of Lincoln, America. Here's 93.7 The Ticket's Jake Sorensen.
Did seem kind of meh.
And the Lincoln Journal-Star's Steve Sipple.
Surprisingly good.
This is Early Break with Sip and Jake, sponsored by Gaina Trucking.
Good morning. Happy Thursday to you, Steve Sipple, Jake Sorensen. Early break. Full show ahead. We have a full hour with Mike Schaefer from 7 to 8. As always, today we'll have Rick Heyman's Song of the Day at 6:45. And we'll talk, some sports today.
Yeah, we have a lot to talk about.
How are you?
Wonderful.
Good
How are
to hear.
you?
I'm fine. No
Yeah.
small talk. We're moving on.
Oh, we don't want to talk about the weather?
No. Might snow tomorrow. 1 to 3 inches. That's all you get.
Wow, really?
Today is nice, so enjoy it.
How nice.
50s.
Okay.
Do you know I golfed yesterday?
Did you?
Well,
How'd that go?
Look, when I say golf, I live on a par 3 golf course, and I was able to play like 6 holes before it got dark.
Oh, that's
I still worked the full thing. It's just nice to know that at 5 o'clock, I'm not sitting in my house in sadness because it's completely dark out. Now it's like 5:40 you can play to. You got to stretch to get to 5:40. It's getting dark at 5:15, but you made it happen. So good to get the
nice
clubs
job.
back
So you
out
just
for
used
6
that-
holes.
Just took that 3 iron out.
No, I don't need a 3
I mean,
iron.
excuse
at the
me,
par
9 iron
3.
out. Yeah.
No, my course I require
9.
a putter, a 56-degree wedge, a sand wedge, and a gap wedge 52. That's all I need.
That's all you need.
That's all I need.
Was there anybody else out there?
Yeah, there's 2 people out there. Didn't see them at all, and
Didn't say hi.
didn't stop me at all. I just kept going.
Okay.
So-
Harrison's here.
Yes,
Good
he
morning.
is. Good morning to Harrison. Good morning to everyone listening.
I kind of like this no small talk thing.
It was your choice.
Yeah.
You made that
I
happen.
mean, there's a lot. There's a lot to talk about. Starting with the football schedule, obviously. What else you got in this rundown?
Well, I want to
You
ask you about
said Schaefer.
expectations for another program. We'll get to that later on next segment. If the baseball team's expectations are heightened because of the lack of success by the other men's programs, or because they're ranked right now preseason, we'll get to that later on in the show also.
Okay.
I want to talk about the schedule to begin.
Yes.
402-464-5685. Call or text as always. There was a little shuffling yesterday in the schedule for Nebraska. And if you haven't looked at next year because you're still pissed about what happened this year, Nebraska went 3-9. They did. That happened. And we all know that there's a lot of close losses. They probably weren't as bad as 3-9 would indicate because of how they played in most of these games, but the record says 3-9. So I understand if you're out there and you can't look forward yet to 2022 because you're still upset about what happened this year. I get it. We'll do that for you right now, okay? To give you what the glimpses of next year's schedule. And if Nebraska can find some semblance of an offense and keep the defense intact and playing well to begin next season, even the lightest Kool-Aid drinker, Sip.
The lightest.
Yeah. The one that's not chuggy. The one that sips.
Mm-hmm.
Could see a pretty good start next season. Here's what it looks like for Nebraska.
Are we really doing that?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I am.
Yes, go ahead.
Besides the game in Ireland, which is scheduled for obviously August 27th, which is a neutral site game for Nebraska Northwestern, the Huskers don't play a true road game until October 8th next year. Okay?
Oh, that's amazing.
There's a reason for optimism there and some Kool-Aid sipping because
it's
favorable.
Favorable.
This is your schedule.
Favorable.
This is our first time going through this on this show for 2022 because we're trying to not sip Kool-Aid because it just got spoiled badly last year, really badly.
Mm-hmm.
But this is how gettable the first 6-7 games are. Sip at Northwestern in Ireland. You just beat that team 56-7 last year. Now I don't expect that this year at all. I expect a tight game, a close game with the Wildcats. I don't expect that kind of blowout again. Right?
Based on what?
because that's what Pat Fitzgerald does.
Oh.
He's a good coach.
No,
Newt
okay.
Rockne,
Yeah.
Newt Fitzgerald over
All right,
there.
go ahead.
Yep. Home against North Dakota, not North Dakota State, North Dakota. Much different story there.
Yeah.
Okay, feel good. Georgia Southern at home, feel good about that. Probably a challenge, but feel
challenge.
good. Oklahoma at home, not going to be favored, but a team that's going through a new coaching
Yeah,
staff,
they're going to have at least a dozen new starters.
a new quarterback
Yep.
at that school. Indiana after a bye at
After a
home, who
bye.
went 2-10 last season, right? They were terrible.
Yeah, in Lincoln.
They have a new quarterback, Connor Baslick from Missouri. We'll see if he fits in right away, but they're going through some tough times.
Okay.
And then your first road game is at Rutgers, which is, again, a program that improved this past year, but never a program that's going to be one that you're terribly afraid of. It's going to be tough to win that game, but you're not going into a daunting environment, right? Sip, you've been to Piscataway. It's not daunting there.
Not really, no. No, it's not.
And then at Purdue, who had a great season, 9 wins for them.
Those are rough back-to-back road trips, though. Ooh.
I understood, but you also don't take a road trip until October 8th, besides the neutral site game in Ireland.
Yeah, you are not seeing the beautiful spots of America when you're going to Piscataway and West Lafayette.
Yeah, well, some people
All right.
like those, but
Oh, yeah,
the
sure.
dives
Yeah,
of America.
Right. Bye after that.
Yeah, then you have a bye.
Bye.
So after the 2 road games, you have a bye. Then you're home against Illinois, who has beat you last year, of course, and you're trying to avenge that loss to Brett Bielema.
Mhm.
I mean, at that point, if you're sipping Kool-Aid, you
don't
could
do
be
this.
at
Don't.
5 wins.
Don't do this.
Could
Yeah.
could be.
This
Could.
is where we have to change our ways. And I think people have. I mean, I'm not. I think you're just fine saying that's a favorable first part.
It's actually hugely favorable.
But I don't think we should get into taking for granted wins.
Well, I didn't. Never did.
against anybody.
Never did. I said you could be.
Yeah.
You could be.
Okay,
at
November.
5 wins.
November, the big November. Once again, Bill Callahan. The games in November, the games to remember.
Minnesota at home, following the home game against Illinois, November 5th. Minnesota in Lincoln.
That's a bear.
It's a bear, but it's a
Then
winnable
the big
bear.
one. Then the big one.
Then you're at Michigan,
Then the
and
big
we'll
one.
see what Michigan looks like. Is Jim Harbaugh the head coach next year? I don't know who the head coach is. He might still be back there. He might not be.
Ann Arbor in mid-November.
How are they without Hutchinson and Ojabo on that defense? Are they still a top 10 team? I don't know what the Michigan looks like next season. They lose a lot of guys.
That's good. Yeah.
They lose a lot of talent
They
off
do.
of a good team.
Yeah.
A team that you almost beat here in Lincoln, oh, by the way.
Yeah.
Then you have Wisconsin at home. Then you're at Iowa to close the season.
Favorable schedule.
I mean, there is a
Favorable.
scenario that if Nebraska gets things figured out this offseason, if Casey Thompson is a good quarterback who can win games, close games, or if Smothers beats him out somehow, whoever it is, you assume Thompson. But if they get things resolved and find a way to close games, there's reason to think that they could get to 6 wins before November. And that's me, who I am right now
God,
with
you're
this program
strange.
a pessimist,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. I like this, Jake, though. I don't mind this.
I look at that schedule and say, my gosh, if they're not dumb and don't completely implode, there is a chance that they enter November bowl eligible.
Yeah. I just
chance.
don't. Okay. All right.
That's me.
Couple things.
The pessimist too.
I know. Couple things to think about. Number one, okay, here comes the grump with the takes that aren't popular. If I were the AD, I wouldn't. I'd be maybe maneuvering a little to try to get out of this Dublin game. I don't.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, I don't
Here
know
we
why.
go.
I don't know. I don't think people are. I don't sense that the Husker Nation is clamoring for a trip to Dublin, and it's a pain for the team. But anyway, I mean,
This is you not wanting to go to Ireland, isn't it? This is
No.
you-
No, I said yesterday, what if you go over there, with the protocols
Yeah,
and
it's bad right now.
and you and one of your players tests positive, you got to stay there for 2 weeks. I mean, what if you have 3 players test positive, 3 starters test positive that are over there for 2 weeks? Or your coach, one of your coaches. I mean, I just don't. And I can tell you right now, Jake, it's probably a 50-50 proposition whether that game's going to be in Dublin. But anyway,
It's
that
that's hard not to accept that.
but anyway, I think that would make the schedule even more favorable if you're just going to Northwestern, and playing Northwestern on its home field.
You like Evanston, don't we?
Yeah,
Nebraska plays well in Evanston.
Right. You'll get a huge crowd there. Northwestern wouldn't want to move the game to a neutral site, I don't think, because that's Northwestern's biggest payday of the year. Northwestern will, if it's not in Dublin, they'll want that game in Evanston unless there's a neutral site that guarantees that they're going to make X amount of dollars above what they would make on a typical home game. Okay, but whatever. See, the other point is when you talk with, I don't think you're overdoing it. I don't want to say you're overdoing it.
I'm a pessimist about this team.
And you're just saying the schedule's favorable. That's exactly right. But the thing I don't want to get into too much is talking about matchups like we know. We don't even know what Nebraska is going to look like. So how the hell do you know what you don't have any kind of gauge on Northwestern, nor do I, by the way.
I saw them last year. They were bad.
Yeah.
And so is Nebraska, but Nebraska, a bad team, murdered a bad team last year.
But my point is the rosters change over so much that how do you sit here right now knowing? I mean, Nebraska's still undergoing changes. We don't know what Casey Thompson's all about. Right?
Well, let me say this. I've never
not really.
I've never entered any Northwestern game ever fearful of a blowout or getting stomped.
Good point.
Because you don't get stomped by them. You play them close.
Mm-hmm.
You win close. You blow them out like you did last year, and they've that's probably really the first major blowout in the series. They did beat them by, I think, 17 in Northwestern one time several years ago with Tommy Armstrong. But generally, that's just a close game.
I mean, just to illustrate.
So that's why I'm not scared of it.
Just to illustrate my point about how, and I think this maybe goes without saying, but how far off were we on predictions last year?
Well,
did anybody say 3-9?
No, I think we said 5-7 was possible. 6-6 was possible. We said 7.
Remember saying that.
Oh no, we said 6-6 was very possible.
Yeah, I was saying 8 and you were saying 7.
Well, I said 7, but I said that I guess 7. I didn't knowing that 6 was possible and 5 was possible. Like when you say 7, it's not like I expect 7 and nothing else.
Listen to this over here, Harrison.
No, when you make
Jake in retrospect saying he was predicting minus 500.
No,
right.
if I said 10 wins, you could say, well, now 7 wins is close to 500.
Yeah, you weren't.
Knowing that if things went wrong
in the 5-win neighborhood.
I didn't say 5. I said that was possible, but I guess 7. You're right.
Well,
my prediction was 7.
I mean, yeah, okay, all right. So, but I don't know what Oklahoma's going to be. I don't know what Indiana's going to be. I don't know what Rutgers is going to. I don't know. How do you know right now on January 13th what these teams are going to be?
I'm just saying that it's a favorable schedule,
no doubt, and I totally agree.
That's where I sit right here.
Yeah.
With the schedule.
But I don't want to do this thing where we count wins.
I don't look at this year like last year. You go, oh boy.
No, this is favorable. There's no doubt about it. God, I mean, it just hasn't lined up. I mean, what if you had this schedule with last year's team, and then now you're kind of looking at a whole different situation, right? But it didn't line up that way. You have a different. You're without Juergens. You're without Damian Daniels. Obviously, without Adrian, you have 4 new assistants on offense. We haven't had a running backs coach yet, which I think has got to happen here. Pretty quick.
Sometime.
Yeah.
Someday.
But yeah. Probably today or tomorrow. So I'm totally with you. Now, November's fun. I mean, that's a fun November schedule for us, right?
Oh, it's going to be more fun if you're bowl eligible at that point.
Yeah.
If Nebraska has already clinched 6 wins and they're going to a bowl game, it'll be a lot more fun. Let's say we got gravy. We're playing with house money now. We would like to win the West, but we know we're at least going to the bowl game. Get to 6 wins before November, please.
The November schedule once again is fun. Backloaded schedule. But that's not an unmanageable situation there. So you traded, on your crossover games, you have Indiana, Rutgers, and Michigan instead of, what was it last year? Ohio State, Michigan, and come on, Jake, help. Oh, God. Michigan
State, yeah.
So think about
Michigan
that.
State on the road.
Think about that. Ohio State, Michigan State. Now it's Rutgers, Indiana, and at Michigan.
Yeah,
but it's not the Michigan that was this year, I don't think. You got to have Cade McNamara back and J.J. McCarthy at quarterback.
I just think they take a step back. Now, I've seen them in the way too early top 25 at like number 8, which I say you realize they're losing a lot of pieces, right?
Yeah.
Like that team is falling more than 8th.
I don't have a great
And
handle.
I still don't feel great about Jim Harbaugh being the head coach there next year.
Yeah, I don't either. What are you hearing though?
I'm not here. The NFL, it's been very quiet
as
on Jim Harbaugh.
That's it. What about Miami?
Very quiet.
Nothing.
Stephen Ross said he doesn't want to be the guy that takes him away, but that's what an owner's going to say when you're trying to keep things on the DL. Okay. They have asked for interviews for 6 other coaches, not Jim Harbaugh.
Can you name a few of them?
Yeah, Leslie Frazier, former Vikings coach, on the Bills defensive coordinator. They have Mike McDaniel, the OC of the 49ers. They have asked for Brian Daboll, the OC of the Bills. Then Dan Quinn, former Falcons head coach, now with the Cowboys.
I bet you'd love that.
No. No.
Who else?
There's 2 other guys.
That's all right. You did good there.
Two other guys.
You ripped that off fine. So the 2 others must not be.
No, I think there's
Bieniemy in that.
No, they have not requested him yet.
Okay. So yeah, there you go. The schedule. So what people are going? What are you guys doing? Why is this happening? Because the Big Ten. What happened yesterday is the Big Ten. It released its rework schedule, and they had to rework this schedule because of the effect of scheduling changes made during the pandemic. So that's that. What's
here's
funny?
a text coming.
Hey, Derek's on the line.
Hang on, Derek. We got to get to a text first.
Yeah.
This is from Logan in KC. He says, "Well, hang on a second. Why is SIP pouring cold water on these expectations? We have a Raiola. Why should we be worried?"
He's a Raiola.
He's a Raiola.
He's a foreman. He's a Peter.
Thank you, Logan. That's good.
He's a Peter.
Okay, we've.
That's not that good, by the way. It's not that good, Logan. It's fine.
Let's get a call from Derek in his time machine. Apparently, yeah. Derek, you're on early break. Go ahead, man.
Good morning, gentlemen. Shout out to Chris and Vince and Napa. It's 4:20, Vince. Time to get up.
Yeah, wake up, Vince. Come on.
I'm in my time machine today, guys. You know why.
Why is that?
Jake, we're going to go back to August, aren't we? And, I think you had it right. You were pessimistic in August when SIP was reeling off all the victories.
Naturally.
And I think he had us at about 6 wins, but he coaxed you up to 8. I think he coaxed you.
He said he got me to 7
at Michigan State, and then I think he also planted some seeds of doubt about Iowa in your head. Now,
probably
guys,
true.
it's a little early to start doing this again, isn't it?
Yeah.
But I do believe the Big Ten blessed us with a crossover schedule that is manageable, and I agree. I don't think Michigan's going to be anything like they were. Of course, we might not be as well. But I guess my big question for today, gentlemen, is what do we know about the potential running backs coach situation? Do you have any information for me?
Yeah, I mean, they're looking at I mean, it's probably 4 people that they have been looking at. The Bears running backs coach, his name is Petrie, Brian Applewhite, TCU, Greg Knox of Florida, and Ron Brown. Now, I think when it shakes out today or tomorrow, it'll be one of those guys. Petrie has
You believe it'll be tomorrow?
Well, here's the deal. The dead period ends tomorrow. The NCAA recruiting dead period ends tomorrow.
Well, that's my question.
Yeah, they'll probably
get on the stick with this.
Well, yes and no. I mean, you can still recruit without a running backs coach right now. I mean, it's not like signing days coming up and you're going to have a bunch of guys. So I don't know. I never get into that mode where he's got to get on the stick on this. Like, what is there some kind of deadline that I'm unaware of here?
No, but I think it broadcasts some continuity, some leadership, obviously, and some direction for some of the younger recruits if they're looking at Nebraska as a potential school to land, either from the portal or from high school.
Well,
so I think all those things matter, and I think once you get a guy on board, there's going to be a cram course, and here's Nebraska, most of the coaches, perfected coaches, are going to know something about Nebraska. That's inevitable. But the key, I think, is to get that familiarity amongst the coaching staff as well.
Sure.
So that was kind of my point there. Hey, guys, great show. Looking forward to the rest of it.
Okay.
Thank you, Derek.
Okay, Derek and his time
Thanks
machine.
for the time machine there.
Derek and the time machine. Yeah, I might have coached you up to 7. All I was saying is you weren't in the 3 neighborhood.
No, I was not in the 3.
Right.
We were, and Michael in Carolina says you guys were talking about the floor being about 4 wins, but so we were close there. We were
weren't
close to the floor. We were 1 win shy of the floor.
I'm not taking any credit.
I'm taking credit for
Yeah,
that. Oh,
yeah, oh God, Vince has he heard the cry from Derek.
yes, you did. All right, Vince in Napa, you're on early break. Go ahead, man.
Good morning, fellas. How are you?
Vince, how are you?
Oh, I'm doing fine. Shout out to you guys, and also shout out to Derek from his time machine on Highway 77.
Yes.
or Highway 77. But in looking at this schedule, I mean, first of all, I'm with USIP as far as the first game against Northwestern in Ireland. I would definitely be looking to get that game, back on U.S. soil, mainly because of how things continue to go with COVID. But,
Right.
I'm not gonna take a deep dive with that. But to me, I look at the schedule. I mean, especially the first half of this year.
Okay.
I mean, in one respect, it's somewhat similar to last year, because going into last year, I looked at it as, well, 5-7 was the floor,
okay,
and 9-3 best case scenario was the ceiling. I mean, this year I kind of look at it somewhat similarly, but not because I know so much about what everybody else has coming back, because we don't even know what our roster is going to look like. But I think, to me, I don't base it on, okay, what does everybody else have back and what do we have back? I look at it as, can we finally figure out how not to beat ourselves? Whether it's taking care of the ball on offense, whether it's not losing games in comedic fashion on special teams.
Right.
And hopefully now that we actually have somebody that's, full-time paying attention to that side of the ball, I don't know what it translates to from an improvement standpoint, but, Lord knows it can't get any worse than it did a year ago. So again, I look at this schedule and what it may translate into is, can we finally figure it out?
Yeah.
Well, thanks, Vince.
Yeah,
Appreciate
thanks. Can we finally figure it out? Now, it's back to Derek in the time machine. Derek, I didn't mean to be, was I glib or about the running back situation? What I would just say, Derek, and gentlemen can disagree, I just say it's more important to me to get the right guy than set an arbitrary deadline and try to rush it out. If that's because there's still movement. I mean, there's NFL movement. One of the guys is an NFL running backs coach with the Bears whose season just ended. If it is Petrie, his name is Petrie. If it is him, then how quickly do you expect it to happen? I mean, so I'm not big on that whole thing where we're setting arbitrary deadlines. It's a running backs coach. I mean,
They got a running backs coach without a running back without a running backs coach.
Right. I mean, they just got
DeAndre Jackson
from the
A&M,
right, from the transfer
without having a running backs coach.
Right. Well, and for all I know, they told Jackson, this is our guy. We just haven't been able to announce it yet because there are things that have to occur before you announce it. There's background checks. Who knows? There's some level of negotiation sometimes. Now, Derek, if we're having this conversation a week from now, I would raise my eyebrows a little bit. I would, but I don't think we're gonna be.
Let's get another call from Mike. Mike, you're on early break. Go ahead.
Good morning, guys. Hey, Steve, I got a favor to ask. Could you use your investigative skills and see really how the tickets are going to Dublin? It's kind of curious. 2 years ago, I signed up, but I didn't sign up right away, but not that late. And by the time I signed up, I had to go in the Northwestern section. All the Husker tickets were taken.
Is that right? Right?
Yeah. Last year it was phenomenal. And, obviously I didn't hold the game. This year I did get on earlier. But boy, there was a lot of seats.
Right.
And I sat next to Sean Callahan when we both decide we need a little misery in our life and we're at the Husker basketball game. I asked him how our ticket sales going, and he was kind of non-committal, which may or may not mean anything. But boy, there was a lot more seats when I went to get it. And if I remember right, I don't think they were really promoting it, not like they are now. You know, Sean's the official spokesperson, and I hear him on the radio a lot promoting the game. They've had guys from Ireland, which kind of leads me to believe maybe ticket sales aren't going so good. And didn't he say if the sales aren't good, they just aren't going to go?
Oh, I don't know if he said that. No, I don't know.
Show?
I don't know if he said that, but I mean, there's some common sense in that, right? If ticket sales don't go well, would they have the game? I don't know. I mean, like I said, the team like Nebraska. Oh, I know, like Trev's not. This was a Bill. I'll just put it this way, Mike. This was a Bill Moose thing. Okay, this was not a Frost thing. This was a Bill. This was a Bill. Bill pushed hard for this. Okay, I'm just going to put it that way.
Interesting. Well, thanks. Have a good day, guys.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, as far as ticket sales go, I don't have any of Mike. I don't have anything reportable right now. Now I know it's been all except to say it's been a little slow, but of course it's been a little
pushed
slow.
it. They haven't pushed it at all.
Well, and there's a worldwide pandemic.
Understood, and I get why they haven't pushed it. There's several things that's going against the trip. It's the pandemic, number one. It's number two. You have a team that hasn't played very well for a while, and the interest in a long trip.
And the other team had
both teams were 1-8 in conference play last year. 1-8. That's your first game.
Okay,
of the season
so why
next
am
year.
I?
There's interest is low for that.
Jake, hold on now. I know what you did there earlier when I suggested maybe this game would be better played on U.S. soil. I'm not being a downer about my personal situation. I don't care. I'll go to Dublin. I don't give a damn. What I'm saying is for the football team, for Scott's program, I just think taking out that rigmarole. If you got the kids over there and they can't go see the sites, and you just have them,
Point?
Yeah, if you just have them at the hotel and you're worried about who's going to practice and who's not, and it's just a big headache, why do it?
That's no reason to travel to a game.
Right.
That's no way
just
to go.
Keep it on. I'm saying if it starts trending that way, then I would just say it's better to play here because for obvious reasons. There's no bye week after that game.
But
you're coming right back and playing.
They gotta figure that out within the next couple months.
Sure.
Because you got to figure out, okay, are these flights going to happen?
Right. Yeah.
Are these tickets going to be purchasable?
Oh yeah. You got to figure it out in March.
You got to know
by
March.
Yeah. By March. I'll say that. You got to figure out in February.
And then if things look good, what if things take a turn in May? Do you cancel it again? I don't know. You got to make an official announcement by March and hope that nothing goes terribly wrong after that.
Well, again, it might be just worth playing it safe and making an official announcement on the other side where we just can't take our chances on this.
Yep.
So I don't want to pour cold water on it. I like the idea of the college kids having that experience, but if it's not an experience, then like you said, what's the point?
Yeah. If you got to go to Ireland and you can't do anything, and you got to quarantine just to stay safe, or that's not a reason to fly across the country,
right?
Across the world.
I hope people understand that the risk is that you test positive in Dublin and you have to stay back. You don't even come back.
Yeah. You miss the next game,
right?
Or maybe two,
right? So yeah, that's the and do people, non-players, just us, fans, media, do you want to take that chance? I don't know. It's just something. I guess I'm just saying it's something. Well, I will tell you this. When I say it's something to think about, it's being thought about, okay, by people that are more important than us, all right?
I would like to go to the game. I plan on trying to go if it happens. But like you said, there's a lot of factors going against it right now that you have to worry about if you're trying to keep your season clean going forward.
Yeah. Now, again, Vegas Bobcat's on me this morning. Hello, Vegas. Good morning. He travels. He was just in Europe, and he says it's fine. The travel's fine. So I'm not an international expert on events and travel protocol, but there's some common sense involved in the discussion.
All right. Well,
what a discussion.
There's your schedule talk. I think without me being a optimist, I think they could be bowl eligible going into November. Now think about that for a second. Me, the negative guy in the show.
It's scary. I don't even know
the
what's
schedule
happening right
is
now.
favorable.
Wrong?
No, I'm just opening my eyes to a possibility. Do I expect that? No, things will go wrong and they'll be like 3-5 somehow. going into November.
Yeah, I'm just not in the prediction business right now. Till I know who's playing on the respective teams, till the roster's more settled.
Sure.
Yeah.
More next on Early Break of the Ticket. Last thing before break, guys, it's getting darker and colder outside every day. That means your time playing golf, tennis, whatever you do outside is getting limited, but you can always find things to do inside, including craft axe throwing in Lincoln. They're open 7 days a week from 4 to 9 p.m. on Monday through Thursday, from noon to 11 on Friday, Saturday, and from noon to 9 on Sunday. Parties and events are welcome anytime. For more information, call them at 402-802-9696 or go to craftaxethrowing.com. That's Craft Axe Throwing, 18th and N in Lincoln.
At Southeast Community College, we know that winter isn't even here yet, but spring is already on our minds. Registration for the spring 2022 semester is open now. Whether you want to get a head start on a 4-year degree, learn a new trade with a certificate program, or add to your job skills, SCC has a class for you. Spring semester starts January 10th. Learn more about our more than 60 programs of study online at southeast.edu. SCC, your path to possible.
You know you want that smoky, tangy, sweet, and spicy sauced and tossed Wingstop. But you just brought a haul of groceries home from the store. It's cool. No one expects you to shop and cook in the same day. So let the flavor experts at Wingstop hook you up with mouth-watering wings, crispy tenders and thighs, fries and sides delivered to your door. You can always cook tomorrow. That's why the fridge was invented. Get it delivered at wingstop.com.
Order online now from the new Wingstop, located at 5001 O Street.
Bagels & Joe is ready for winter with white chocolate raspberry cream cheese, great on any bagel. And try a grilled Italian panini for lunch with ham, prosciutto, banana peppers, and provolone on a sun-dried tomato bagel. Bagels & Joe, 4 Lincoln locations.
Right now, Allstate has almost as many ways to save as there are types of music. Save for being a new customer. Save more for adding DriveWise. And save even more for driving safely. Visit allstate.com or contact your local agent to get a quote. Find out how much you can save today. Allstate. Now that should be music to your ears.
Not available in every state. New customer savings based on early signing discount. DriveWise is an optional feature. Savings vary based on how you buy. Subject to terms and conditions. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Smithbrook, Illinois.
When everything is changing, you need a store that's a constant. A store that has the brands your family loves and the value that you need. A store where you can stock up, pick up, and drive up. A store that's close to home and feels like home. A store that puts the health and safety of you and your family above all else. And a store that's always here to help. At Kohl's, we don't know what next year will look like. We just know that we'll be here for you no matter what. Kohl's, here today, here to stay. See store or Kohls.com for details.
You want to feel important. You want to be a part of something bigger, something that matters and can help change things. You want to feel like you belong. We know. We felt that way too. And that's why we did something about it. We aren't just Army National Guard soldiers. We are normal people just like you. And together, we can make a difference. Take on your legacy. Visit NationalGuard.com to find out more.
Sponsored by the Nebraska Army National Guard. Aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association at this station.
Parents, if you've been waiting for FDA approval to get your teen vaccinated, the time is now. The FDA has approved the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine for use in preventing COVID-19. While this is the first vaccine to gain FDA approval, all COVID-19 vaccines have been proven to be effective against the coronavirus. Want to reduce your teen's risk of hospitalization while protecting yourself and your community? Get your teen vaccinated today. Visit vaccinate.ne.gov to get started.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Gaina Trucking guarantees a 40-hour work week year-round, and their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Happy Hour with Nick Sainert and Enrique Alvarez Clary.
The likelihood that you're going to have a guy that's as talented or even a step up from what you shipped away in Adrian Martinez, right? That's slim. You're going to have to conform your offense, your game plan to this quarterback, and this quarterback and all those guys on that offensive side of the ball are going to have to buy in this season. And that's one thing, right, is that this coaching staff has to relay that message that there is no choice.
Yeah.
You're either bought in or we're going to do this thing without you.
Weekdays from 2 to 3 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Casey's General Store is giving you the chance at winning 2 free tickets to a Nebraska home basketball game this season. Stop by any Casey's location in Lincoln throughout basketball season. Enter your name into the registration box, and you'll have a chance to win 2 tickets to an upcoming Nebraska basketball game. Every drawing will occur at least 24 hours before the game that has its selected winner. So make sure to get to any Casey's in Lincoln today for your chance at 2 free tickets for Nebraska men's basketball games.
This
Anybody who knows me knows I was cocky out of the womb.
is Early Break with Sip and Jake, brought to you by Gaina Trucking. Weekday mornings from 6 to 8 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
You know who has a lot of pressure on them? I don't know if it's fair pressure, but it's pressure. Once again, Nebraska baseball. Practice has begun. The season will get going here. You know, they have a bunch of actually home series in March for the first time in a long time because the weather's unpredictable in March, but they are practicing underway. I'm just really curious. I want to have a quick conversation about this.
Okay, I'm interested in this.
We had this same talk last year before the season began, and they actually backed it up by playing good. They won the conference. They almost went to the CWS. They backed it up. But I'm asking you, is Husker baseball going to have unfair expectations from fans due to the failures of the other men's programs? Football, 3-9. Basketball, for another historically bad season coming up here. They're in the midst of a historically bad season.
I mean, I think that Will Bull obviously built up expectations by coming a whisk. Basically, would you say a whisker from making a
Yes,
super
they're very
regional?
close.
Yeah,
very, very close.
I think that built up expectations. I think just Will Bolt, just by the way he comports himself, kind of does that. But I don't think any of this is a negative. I think he would welcome it. I think he has super high expectations. What is going on in football and baseball? Are people a little more hungry for success on the men's side? Yeah, for sure. But I don't know that adds to any pressure. I think you might be reaching.
No,
maybe.
No. I'll say why. This is why I'm not reaching. There's a couple. Number one, it's like I said, the men's sports have been a disaster. And I say it comfortably, a disaster.
Okay,
disaster.
Not wrestling. I mean, some of the men's sports have
the
2 biggies.
And
they have to win. I mean, Nebraska football and Nebraska football has to win to keep the business model. You can't. The business model can't sustain itself if the football team goes 3-9. It just can't do it.
Number 2, I mean, this team, the baseball team, in more rankings than not, is a preseason ranked team.
Mm-hmm.
What you've seen, I saw them as high as 14th in one ranking.
I don't think there's a lot of pressure on the baseball program.
It just feels like there is.
No, not because partly just because it's baseball.
They're going to have full stands. People are saying, "Yeah, this is the program that's going to save us this year."
We don't even put pressure on Fred Hoiberg.
I do.
Oh, you do a little.
No, I'm done with him. How that for pressure?
Yeah, you.
This is over. I mean, that's why I told you that it's over.
Yeah, no,
has to be over.
Easy there. But you would say that the basketball program. There's a lot of people that can shrug that off. A lot of people. Shoulder shrug. It's just basketball. I hear that all the time. You know what I hear all the time? Sip, come on. You got to get off, Fred. There's no expectations. We don't have expectations.
And I would say
we don't have expectations for basketball that we do for football.
You know what Jake says to that?
What?
Okay, why'd you build the Hendrickson and the PBA?
Mm-hmm.
If you didn't want expectations, why did you build some of the nicest facilities in the country and just say we don't care?
Well,
that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Well, I don't subscribe to that thinking, but I hear that a lot. When I wrote like a semi, I don't know if I wrote a negative column for Sunday. I just said the headline was Jake Hoiberg's program at this point fails to meet even minimal expectations. Is that's
true? What
is that?
What's wrong with that? What's the incorrect statement there? There's not one.
Right. But again, people will say we just don't have that big of expectations for it. So it's not the same as football. And I don't understand that. I don't understand okay, if I just get right down to it. Now you're going to kill me for this.
All right, here we go.
I get it. It seems like I'm not smart enough to explain myself, but on one hand, how can a fan base, many in a fan base, push a 58-19 coach out the door? Now, you could say, get over that, Sipple, but this is what I can't reconcile in my brain. A lot of people in the fan base saying they were just fine with pushing a 58-19 coach out the door, but then digging their heels in for a coach who's 5-40 in the Big Ten. Now, you might be able to help me square that up. And what I hear from people when I say that little spiel is, come on, it's two different things. What's not different is that we're still talking about competition. Okay. If like I said the other day, if I played you in basketball and won one game of one-on-one in 30 tries, I'd be like, what am I doing? This is ridiculous.
Not clamoring to the one win.
Right.
Not clinging, saying, remember that one game I beat you?
Right. And I don't like the football sip matters a lot more here because of the tradition and all that. Because then what you're essentially telling me is that basketball doesn't matter? What? Or it matters to a point where you can go 5-40 and you can shrug it off? Then what I would ask is, why even have a program? Okay, that's what I would ask. If the expectations are low enough that you will dig in your heels and defend 5-40, at that point, you're making a mockery of the program. That's what I feel like. Right?
Yeah.
If you approach it this way and say, hey, we got to think about this. You don't have to be all in on firing Fred, which I'm not. You are, I'm not.
Yeah, I'm done with this.
I'm not. I am not. I still think there's too much season to play. But if you're of the mind where you're just digging in and saying, hey, 5-40 is 5-40, Sip, get over it. No, then I say then maybe don't even have a program.
You say, well, hey, hang on, get over it. Get over. Why? Why do I need to get over that?
Because it's only year 3.
It's only year 3?
And he's building.
What? Building what? Right. A disaster?
What they don't understand is the roster's turning over again. Okay? It's not just the older guys. There was at least one player that was almost out the door on Christmas that's not an older guy. Okay? So they're going to lose 6 or 7, okay, from this roster. So you're just turning it over. You're not really building. The way they're operating right now is they're just turning over rosters every year. So it's not like you're building. This is not a young team. It's a new team. There's guys that haven't played together, but that's by choice.
Yeah,
they chose to do it that way.
I want to say this though, because I'm curious how many Fred supporters are there out there? You claim there's a lot.
It seems like there's a lot to me.
I only know I have one friend that believes in him, but it's waning.
Okay,
but that's it though.
That's fair. Maybe I'm
anyone else I
that.
talk to. I don't really feel like they're thinking, Hoiberg's the guy. He's going to get it done. It's remorse right now. It's sadness and really disbelief in how it got so bad, and understanding we can't believe it went this bad. But yeah, it's time to change. That's what I hear from people mostly.
I'm not. I get it. I understand why there'd be that discussion of time for change. I mean, the record's the record, but I just think I want to see, I'm always of the mind. I want to see how it plays out. And there's a little problem, Jake, at the end of the rope here, as you know. There's an $18.5 million buyout that you have to reconcile that too, right? Okay, now, did I say this spiel yesterday? If you're a donor, if you're Trev Alberts and you're going to a prominent booster right now and you're asking for money for the Go Big project or whatever, some project, and you're asking that person for money and that person's saying, well, why you're asking me for money, but you have 18 million to pay Fred Hoiberg going out the door. Why are you asking me for money? Do you really need it? See the awkwardness that puts the AD in. You're still raising money for a Go Big project. So if I'm that booster, I'm wondering in my head after I see that report in the Journal-Star that there's an $18.5 million buyout. There's a few things that are going on in my head. Why are you asking me for money? It seems like you have the money here, but are you or is my money actually going to help this buyout in some way, which I wouldn't want, So that's made this a kind of a difficult. That's made it a more Hey, believe me, it's made it a more difficult discussion for Trev.
Here's one person that's supportive saying, fire Fred and go get who? Give the guy some time. I just can't believe.
No, there's that. There's a lot of that.
Now, I'm just stunned by that. Guys, take a step off the ledge in your Hoiberg rosy glasses. He's 5-40.
Guy. He's a great guy. That's the thing. They love him.
I don't care. He's got a great resume in the past. He played in the NBA. He's a nice person.
Mm-hmm.
This is the worst it has ever been at the University of Nebraska.
Yeah.
Okay. And we have seen some horrible programs.
Yeah, this is the worst.
We saw bad years with Collier, bad years with, a couple with knee, mostly good with knee, but a couple, some bad years with Doc.
Nothing like this.
A couple with, and those were elite years compared to this 3 years of garbage.
Mm-hmm.
Don't ever anymore, ever give me the, who are you going to hire garbage? That's nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
You can win at this program. I'm not saying you can win at a high level. You can win.
Why?
They have to prove that still.
Right, got it.
But I'll tell you this. They can win more than what they're doing right now at 5-40 in conference play in the Fred Hoiberg era. Right. So I never, ever, ever, ever bring that to this table again, ever. Because I will just disparage it.
I mean, there's a part of me that always says, if you're come on, think about it. If I'm a basketball coach out there right now, Jake, I've said this spiel before, but I'll bring it up again. If I'm a basketball coach out there, a men's basketball coach like Turgeon, I'd be telling my wife, God, if I can get that Nebraska job, well, think about it, honey. The previous coach lasted 7 years with no NCAA tournament wins. 7 years. He made quite a bit of money and didn't have to do much.
The current coach
is 5-40. Honey, he's 5-40. And they don't even want to fire him. I mean, if I can get that job, we are on easy street at Nebraska because they'll pay me a bunch of money and they don't have any expectations for that program. Those people are, they're the nicest people on earth when it comes to basketball, and we can make a pile of money, and we really don't have to win hardly at all.
And if we do, then we're going to be heroes.
We sure don't have to get to the NCAA tournament.
But if we do win that first game, we're going to get a statue. Yeah. And never pay for anything ever again in that town.
We just got to win one NCAA tournament game, honey. We just got to win one.
We're heroes.
Where on earth can you say that about any Division I program? Honey, all we got to do is win one NCAA tournament game, and we're locked for life.
That's here. Rick Heyman's Song of the Day next on Early Break in the Ticket.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now, they're hiring for production operators at $21.72 an hour and other select jobs starting at $23.42 an hour, with wages growing up to $27.55 an hour. Continental also has salary jobs available with great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates. To learn more or apply, go to continentaljobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today. Bagels and Joe is ready for winter with white chocolate raspberry cream cheese, great on any bagel. And try a grilled Italian panini for lunch with ham, prosciutto, banana peppers, and provolone on a sun-dried tomato bagel. Bagels and Joe, 4 Lincoln locations.
Casey's General Store is giving you the chance at winning 2 free tickets to a Nebraska home basketball game this season. Stop by any Casey's location in Lincoln throughout basketball season, enter your name into the registration box, and you'll have a chance to win 2 tickets to an upcoming Nebraska basketball game. Every drawing will occur at least 24 hours before the game that has its selected winner. So make sure to get to any Casey's in Lincoln today for your chance at 2 free tickets for Nebraska men's basketball games.
You know you want that smoky, tangy, sweet, and spicy sauced and tossed Wingstop, but you just brought a haul of groceries home from the store. It's cool. No one expects you to shop and cook in the same day. So let the flavor experts at Wingstop hook you up with mouth-watering wings, crispy tenders and thighs, fries and sides delivered to your door. You can always cook tomorrow. That's why the fridge was invented. Get it delivered at wingstop.com.
Order online now from the new Wingstop located at 5001 O Street.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Gaina Trucking guarantees a 40-hour work week year-round, and their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Hey, Steve. Welcome to Great Clips.
Great Clips asks, what's the difference between good and great?
Come on back and have a seat.
Good asks you what haircut you'd like.
I have all your details from last time. Would you like the same haircut today?
Great already knows. With Clip Notes, we save your haircut details so you can get the same thing as last time, every time. Download our online check-in app today. Great Clips. It's gonna be great.
Landmark Implement, your local John Deere dealership, is hosting their annual sprayer clinic at the Buffalo County Fairgrounds in Kearney, Nebraska, February 2nd and 3rd. Landmark Sprayer Clinic offers expansive equipment and technology training on different models of John Deere and Hagie sprayers. Learn about the newest technology, machine maintenance, spray tip selection, and more. We'll be offering free dicamba certification. Join us February 2nd and 3rd in Kearney. RSVP by calling your local Landmark location or at landmarkimp.com/events.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Expect sunshine and mild conditions again. We'll top out near 57, a northwest wind at 10 to 15. A few clouds moving into the region tonight, a low of 30. Tomorrow we'll hold a high of 42, but falling afternoon temps. North winds eventually gusting 35 to 40, and a chance of snow moving in by late tomorrow afternoon. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Move over, Jake.
I'm moving. Jeez.
Thursdays are reserved for a man with a wider range of music knowledge than Jake could ever dream of.
Guy should be on Mount Rushmore of famous, fabulous, incredible musicians, singer-songwriters.
A man who knows a good song when he hears it, just as much as a good diamond when he sees it.
You get a diamond.
Yes, I do get a diamond. I get a diamond, and that makes me happy.
It's time for Rick Heyman's Song of the Day, sponsored by Sartor Heyman Jewelers, on Early Break on 93.7 The Ticket.
Jenny, Jenny, can I turn to? You give me something I can hold on to. I know you think I'm like the others before, who saw your name and number on the wall. Daddy, I got no number. I need to make you mine. Daddy, don't change your number. 8675309.
Song of the day, 8675309, Jenny by Tommy Two-Tone. 464-56851 is bad. 10 is good. Text you ready on Rick Heyman, Sartor Heyman Jewelers, Song of the Day.
You don't know me, but you make me so happy. I tried to call you before, but I lost my name. I tried my imagination, but I was disgraced.
Once again, your Song of the Day, 8675309, Jenny by Tommy Two-Tone. 464-56851 is bad. 10 is good. Text your rating on Rick Heyman's Sartor Heyman Jewelers Song of the Day.
Tommy Two-Tone managed to pull off something that's extraordinarily difficult in that he created a song that always sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've heard it. Come on, Jake. It has to be a 70s song, right?
Well, Rick will tell us in a second.
Yeah, it has to be. I mean, I'm trying to think. I always think back to my childhood. I'm sure I was listening to that song when I was in the 12 or 13. I hope it was that because I'm just going to say that. I think I must have been 10 to 13 in that range, maybe younger even, maybe 8 to 9. And so I've heard it, I'd say zillion times. Okay.
A zillion.
Huge song.
A zillion?
Jake, it was a huge song when me and Rick were young. Okay?
Yeah, well, I've heard it a lot of times too.
Yeah. And it always sounds good 9.5. And
That's 4 straight songs this week in the 9s.
Right. that song's kind of, there's a genius to that song. You know,
put
that
a phone number made it a
the
memorable
phone number,
song.
right? Yeah, there's a genius.
It's the most
to that.
iconic phone number in the history of time, right?
Yeah,
That one.
There's a genius to that, and he's been rewarded handsomely for that, including a 9.5 on our show.
We'll
What do
go
you
with
give
an
it?
8.5.
Okay, you like it,
Harrison? You want to guess?
Yeah. Okay, this is fun. Harrison, the 22-year-old, judging songs from the 70s. I think he would like that because of what we're saying. That there's a genius there, and it's a fun song, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's cool. I think it's a cool song, fun and cool.
Guess the score.
6.1.
We'll go like a 7.
Ooh,
high for Harrison. 7.8. He
Wow.
never gets tired of it.
See, he's got good taste.
Rick Heyman, he's got a
Thank you,
7.8 from Harrison, which is impossible. We're now joined.
Virtually
We're now
impossible.
joined by Rick Heyman, Sauter Heyman Jewelers. Good morning, Rick. Good song today.
Harrison, you are awesome, dude. Sorry I didn't see you this morning with some breakfast sandwiches, but
No.
that's a great rating.
Yeah, I wish we could see you. Hey, thanks for that song, Rick.
Very nice choice.
Well, you're welcome. You are welcome. That was 1981, Sep.
Not 70s.
Oh, it was
early
not
80s.
a 70s song?
Nope.
Okay, that was 15. Gosh, that's shocking.
You were in high school then.
Yeah, 15.
The glory days.
Yep. 1981. Tommy Two-Tone is not a person, by the way. It's just the name of a band.
Okay.
Oh, interesting.
Okay.
That's a good factoid.
Yeah, thank you. That's the name of a band. Okay, keep going.
So we're back on one-hit wonders. It's a new year, bleak, and nobody's going to Ireland, so let's do some one-hit wonders.
All right.
Rick, come on. Is it bleak? Does it sound bleak on our show?
Oh no, it's pretty good.
Yeah, come on.
Pretty good. Anyway, this song, great song, like you said. I mean, talk about a earworm. You can't get it out of your head. A lot of people listening right now will have that song in their head all day.
They will.
Anyway, there's a bunch of different stories about how they wrote this song. And the Jim Keller, one of the writers, said in '82, he said, well, it was some girl that I knew, and they wrote her number on the bathroom wall, and I called her, and we dated for a while. Well, that's totally bogus. That didn't happen. He was actually just out writing a song in his backyard. He wanted a 4-chord rock song.
Okay.
So he came up with the 4 chords, and he came up with the telephone number. That's all he had of this. And then later on, he got with the other guy who co-wrote it, and he said, this is perfect for writing a song about a phone number on the bathroom wall. And it just so happened that phone number just came out. I mean, it just fit, He just pulled it out of the ether, he said.
Wow.
So a lot of history about that phone number, by the way.
Okay.
Incidentally, this was the beginning of the video era, MTV and that. It was early. And young gal named Karen Elaine Morton played Jenny, and she was very beautiful. You can see her on the video. I've got something about her in a minute. The guy said, I met a few Jennies in my life who have said, oh, you're the guy that ruined my high school years.
Oh, wow. Wow.
But for the most part, Jennies are happy to have the song. There was no Jenny. The number, it came out of me from it came to me from the ether, he said. Okay. This is a great quote. All these people that had that phone number, when this lady said, we'd first get calls at 2 or 3 in the morning. My husband would answer the phone. He can't hear too well.
Oh, no.
They'd ask for Jenny, and he'd say, Jimmy doesn't live here anymore. Tommy Two-Tone was the one who had that record. I'd like to get a hold of his neck and choke him, Lorene Burns of Alabama Housemaker said.
Homemaker, yes.
In 1982, WLS Radio obtained the number from a Chicago woman receiving 22,000 calls in 4 days.
Oh my God.
Oh, that would be
That's horrifying.
That would be horrifying, yes.
Oh, man.
Brown University attained the number with a 401 prefix in 1999, assigning 867-5309 to a student dormitory room, which was promptly inundated with thousands of calls. February 2004 auction for the number in the New York zip code was shut down by eBay. Bidding had reached $80,000. Colorado restaurant got the number for their for an 80s promo.
Okay.
In 2013, the number was still ringing up 50 calls a day for Florida realtor Terry Rout.
Wow.
Hope she gets some
Yeah,
sales out
so
of
I
it.
mean, it lives on. What are
Yeah.
you going to do?
Yeah, what are you going to do?
You know, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's pretty good, pretty good.
Yeah.
So with that in mind, some Stump the Sippers.
Okay, let's do it.
Did this song reach number 1?
Okay. Since you're asking, I'm going to say no. No, it didn't. It did not.
You get a CZ. It did.
Dang.
That's too bad.
Yeah. What year was it? 81 or 82?
It was written in 81, and I think it was on the charts in 82.
Okay.
Longer or shorter than 35 weeks on the top 100 chart.
Well, I got to say longer than that. Longer. Give me a diamond.
You get a diamond. It was 40 weeks.
Okay.
Okay, good job. One for two.
That's almost a whole year.
That's
pretty-
amazing.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. It's a good year for
Good
Tommy
work for
too.
Tommy, yeah. The
Yeah.
band.
Yeah. Is Karen Morton, the gal in the video, is she still alive?
She should be. Yeah, she's alive. Alive.
You get a CZ. She died in 2014. She was the Playboy Playmate of the Month in 1978.
Remember that?
Oh, you do? Sure you do.
You remember that?
No, I
Okay.
don't. But hey,
That was your dad. That was in your dad's under your dad's bed.
He stuck that one out.
under my brother's bed.
Yeah, your brothers. And was she paid more or less than $1,000 to be on the video?
God, that's a good question. 1,000 seems really light to me. I'm going to say she was paid more than that.
You get a diamond. It's a split victory. She was paid $5,000.
Yeah.
Oh, good job.
Still
Two for
not
four. So
not
50%.
It's not enough, but that's more than 1,000.
Lives on. It lives on.
Great
Sure.
stuff. God,
Great
bless
song
you.
today, Rick. Before I let you go, what's going on right now at Sauter Heyman Jewelers?
Hey, we are rocking. We are rolling. Come see us downtown South Point and in Grand Island. Check us out at SauterHeyman.com. By the way, we still have Husker pendants. We just sold one online yesterday. It's a fabulous gift. Check us out at SauterHeyman.com. Check us out on Facebook at Sauter Heyman, and I'll post some more factoids about this on my personal Facebook at Rick Heyman.
Thank you, Rick.
Rick, always great stuff. Thank you for the time. We will chat with you again next week.
Bye-bye.
There we go. That's Rick Heyman. Sauter Heyman Jewelers. Again, the song of the day today.
I just
is
love that.
One Hit Wonders is 8675309 Jenny by Tommy Two-Tone.
Yeah, that's. I think
Harrison gave it a 7.8.
Yes, he did. That song is. I mean, it's,
That's the
it's
second
got it.
highest score he's ever given a song.
That's a rock and roll song that will. It always sounds good. It was. I mean, every time it comes on, it's hard to do that. Like, there's some songs that you like. What's that song you like? Dancing in the Moonlight.
Yeah, King Harvest.
Yeah,
best
King
song in
Harvest.
the history of
Is that
music.
Is it called Dancing in the Moonlight?
Yeah.
Whenever I hear that song, every time I hear it, it sounds good.
That's because it's the best song in the history of music.
Yeah. Have
My
you ever
opinion.
heard the song Brandy?
Yes.
Brandy.
Looking Glass.
Yeah. God, you're smart. That song always sounds really good. It's amazing. Like, I've heard it a zillion times. Every time I'm like, man, this is beautiful.
Because those songs just age well. This
Yeah.
music today doesn't age.
Well, you don't do
we
that.
won't remember it in 3 years from now.
Yeah. Some songs.
Long live the 70s, 60s, and 80s. I'm an old soul. I said it.
You
I
are.
mean it.
You are.
Top of the hour next, Mike Schaefer in studio on Early Break on the Ticket.
Hey, Steve. Welcome to Great Clips.
Great Clips asks, what's the difference between good and great?
Come on back and have a seat.
Good asks you what haircut you'd like.
I have all your details from last time. Would you like the same haircut today?
Great already knows. With Clip Notes, we save your haircut details so you can get the same thing as last time, every time. Download our online check-in app today. Great Clips. it's going to be great.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Yesterday, your water heater worked just fine. Today, surprise! When you're out of hot water, just call the plumbers at Bryant. In most cases, you can get same-day water heater replacement. What you won't get is a costly surprise with the bill. At Bryant, the price you're quoted is the price you'll pay. No last-minute extras for piping or ventilation alterations. Need a new water heater? Just call Bryant, 467-1111. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. We do whatever it takes.
Happy Hour with Nick Sainert and Enrique Alvarez Clary.
The likelihood that you're going to have a guy that's as talented or even a step up from what you shipped away in Adrian Martinez, right? That's slim. You're going to have to conform your offense, your game plan to this quarterback, and this quarterback and all those guys on that offensive side of the ball are going to have to buy in this season. And that's one thing, right, is that this coaching staff has to relay that message that there is no choice.
Yeah.
You're either bought in or we're going to do this thing without you.
Weekdays from 2 to 3 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Parents, if you've been waiting for FDA approval to get your teen vaccinated, the time is now. The FDA has approved the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine for use in preventing COVID-19. While this is the first vaccine to gain FDA approval, all COVID-19 vaccines have been proven to be effective against the coronavirus. Want to reduce your teen's risk of hospitalization while protecting yourself and your community? Get your teen vaccinated today. Visit vaccinate.ne.gov to get started.
Working at Continental of Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now, they're hiring for production operators at $21.72 an hour and other select jobs starting at $23.42 an hour, with wages growing up to $27.55 an hour. Continental also has salary jobs available with great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates. To learn more or apply, go to continentaljobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
You spend more time in your garage than outdoors in the wintertime. Isn't it time to get it organized? Call Travis at Classic Garage Solutions for his variety of organization packages. Turn your garage from a cluttered mess to a clean, organized space that'll be the envy of the neighborhood and something you can be proud of. You don't need to bring the same clutter from last year into the new year. Travis has storage options for cabinets, monkey bar shelving, or slat wall, and more. Call Classic Garage Solutions today at 402-730-1638.
You know you want that smoky, tangy, sweet, and spicy sauced and tossed Wingstop. But you just brought a haul of groceries home from the store. It's cool. No one expects you to shop and cook in the same day. So let the flavor experts at Wingstop hook you up with mouth-watering wings, crispy tenders and thighs, fries and sides delivered to your door. You can always cook tomorrow. That's why the fridge was invented. Get it delivered at wingstop.com.
Order online now from the new Wingstop located at 5001 O Street.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Gaina Trucking guarantees a 40-hour work week year-round, and their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Wake up, Lincoln.
Come on, it's 6 o'clock. Rise and shine, rise and shine.
It's time for Early Break with Sip and Jake, brought to you by Gaina Trucking. Live from the Coppel Chevrolet GMC studios in the heart of Lincoln, America. Here's 93.7 The Ticket's Jake Sorensen.
Did seem kind of meh.
And the Lincoln Journal-Star's Steve Sipple.
Surprisingly good.
This is Early Break with Sip and Jake, sponsored by Gaina Trucking.
Welcome back to Hour 2 on a Thursday. Steve Sipple, Jake Sorensen, Early Break. We have our special guest, as we do every Thursday in studio, Mike Schaefer, 24/7 Sports. Good morning, Schaefer. How are you today?
I'm good. Did you see that Sipple just kind of did like the hand motion when you sit down, like you're at a blackjack table and the dealer gets up and they they like show the out part of their hands and then their palms, and then they show it again, so you know that there's like nothing.
I think he was making sure he washed his hands. He went
Well,
to the
I did, but I was saying
He's air drying them.
I was saying Schaefer.
You were just to the
Schaefer,
people
I was
watching.
saying-
You were
I
giving
thought
him
you were
the-
going to deal me in, and
No.
I was
Was
like,
that your
okay, new
version?
segment. This is exciting.
In a sense, I am dealing you in.
you
I'm
were,
saying,
that was your red carpet version.
yeah,
right there.
take it
There's
away.
your red carpet.
It was
I
take
appreciate
it away.
Thanks for allowing
Yes.
me to have this opportunity.
Well, you're welcome.
We
There's
give
a
you the
lot.
red
There's
carpet.
a lot I want to know from Schaefer.
Well, we'll get to that in a second.
Oh,
This
okay.
hour,
Yeah.
this hour, of course, with Mike Schaefer is sponsored by Trek CBD, 2 Lincoln location. Schaefer, what do you got today from Trek CBD?
You know, just to give my friends at Trek CBD a shout out, I need to look up the name of the Delta 8 gummies.
Okay.
I wasn't convinced that the SEC championship / college football playoff was going to be particularly interesting.
Oh.
So I was like, all right, let's just at least have a nice relaxing night. So I took an edible roughly roughly about 40 minutes into the start of that game.
Okay.
And you know what? It was nice. Like I was in a good place. I was in a good mood. I sort of enjoyed all the field goals that Alabama had to kick from inside the 30.
Were you laughing at all?
I got to be honest. It doesn't make Bill O'Brien seem like the greatest offensive coordinator ever if you're completely incapable of scoring inside the 20. It also makes me feel like I owe Scott Frost a little bit of an apology, because maybe if you have as much talent as Alabama and you still struggle to do it, maybe there's a reason it gets harder as the field gets shorter. Everyone says this, but conventional wisdom is you should be able to score touchdowns when you're inside the 10-yard line.
Yeah.
But it was that was a nice way to it. Like if there's an NFL playoff game that you have no opinion on whatsoever and you're not gambling on it or whatever, just take a Delta 8, recede into the recliner. It was a wonderful experience.
Good. That could help college football.
Honestly,
you might be helping college football
because
as we speak.
if I hadn't done that, I probably would have been complaining a lot more about the first three quarters of that game. But as it was, by the time the fourth quarter hit, I was like, all right, let's go. Let's see where this goes. So,
all right, well, there you go. See, Jake, maybe you could better.
I should go to Trek CBD too,
Yeah.
and this could help me in my sports watching.
Well, you could better enjoy the Tide.
No,
Right.
I'm not going to watch the Tide unless they're in the championship game typically.
Right. But which they are all the time.
Well, next year they won't be. Maybe.
Jake,
they will be.
Jake,
I'm just trying
they
to.
almost won the title with their worst team in the last decade.
And they were all banged up.
They're going to be.
I know. This is
incredible.
This is just wishful.
They
thinking.
were a Jameson Williams injury away from, I think, beating Georgia by 10 points. I don't think that Georgia would have slowed him down.
They had kind of slowed him down. Now I'm a Tide fan, so this is.
He got hurt on like a 40-yard play. How did they slow him down?
Well, that was his big play.
Yeah.
He did get hurt. That was his big play. They weren't getting much. He wasn't getting downfield much. And they didn't have much. Bryce Young didn't have much time to.
Well, think about how well they did after he left. Like, you still put him on that roster. Like, you got a guy with a deep shot, big play potential.
Right. You understand you're talking to. I hate saying I'm a Tide fan because I guess we're not supposed to be that. But
you can say it. I'm okay with it.
I like the Tide. So I don't like saying what I'm saying, but I'm not convinced that if Jameson Williams was in that game that Alabama would have won. Now, we heard that on Monday from people, or on Tuesday.
Convinced.
We hear on Tuesday from people. And now I'm hearing it from you, but I am not. I thought Georgia was doing a pretty good job on him and they were doing a good job of getting to Bryce Young.
The difference is when you have a guy like that, maybe you do a good job of you limit some of the explosive plays, but he can still flip the field.
Right.
He can still break something.
Right.
I mean,
I love him.
So I thought it really hurt their ability to attack vertically.
Yeah.
Which then just meant Georgia got to sit on top of you, and you have to try to live driving, on 12-play drives against allegedly the best defense in college football.
And you could point out the big drop by the freshman, number 84.
Yeah.
Yep, that was bad. That was bad.
And they just couldn't spring guys. And no Mechie either. No John Mechie either. So you take Mechie out.
The one-handed attempt on the
late in the game, right?
A terrific pass from Bryce Young, all things considered.
No, Pickens plays for Georgia.
Not Pickens. Who was it?
I
Who's
can't.
7?
I can't say his name.
I can't think of it either.
But anyway, I know
don't
the
know why I
exact
picked
play you're talking about. People will remember that. For some reason, he just threw up one hand.
Well, and maybe he just wasn't in position for that, but it
Might have
felt
lost
like
the ball too.
it felt like that pass was where it needed to be, and he maybe
Bolden,
wasn't.
right? Bolden, is
Yeah.
that the guy's
Yeah.
name?
No, that was not Slade Bolden.
Okay,
Slade.
It was number 7. I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure.
it's not
Hang on.
Slade Bolden.
All right. Well,
Billingsley, no, Holden. Was it Holden?
Maybe.
Yeah, he's number 7. It was Holden.
Okay.
So
What's
that
his
was the
first
receiver.
name?
I don't know what his name is.
Okay, well, don't worry about it. But yeah, it was. I enjoyed the game thoroughly, even though I was
Trayshawn Holden.
Okay, that sounds right. I was disappointed.
Corey Brooks.
At the outcome, I found myself saying expletives at the end.
You know what? I did not. I was happy. So
I know you don't like. I don't get that.
why don't you get it? I don't like seeing the same thing year in, year out.
I don't know that
It's not my
Georgia
team.
winning is a better cause for your
What?
dream of something beyond the SEC.
Well, I didn't say it was, but it wasn't Alabama. It was something different. They had won a title since
Is it
1980.
that different? Because I don't know that it is.
It is.
I see
Schaefer.
what Schaefer's saying.
I think it's two
Both
sides
of you
the
are
same
right.
coin.
Yeah, both of you are right.
Now, I am already excited for the whole dual narrative of I think Ohio State's going to be pretty good next year.
Okay.
So potentially the build-up for that game, if Ohio State gets to play Alabama, that could be really good. I still think Alabama's at a level above because of all those young guys that are going to be back again for them. And honestly, if you sort of look at how Nick Saban was throughout the year this year, there was almost this like, and if John Cook kind of does this too a little bit, like when you're a little giddy because you know that like the best is still to come,
Yeah,
and
like
yet
playing with house
you're
money kind of.
already in this
Yeah,
position.
Yeah, I'm totally vibing with you right now.
I feel like if you
I'm
need
vibing with him, Jake.
if you need an example of that, like John Cook is that way sometimes when he has really young teams and they're sort of overperforming.
And he knows next year is going to
Yeah.
be probably real special, and it's just going to be, can we make a few plays in the games that matter most at the end? So he's tuning his team up for that, Jake. So John Cook's doing that, and Nick Saban's doing that. He's just tuning them up for the SEC championship game and then the national championship game.
That's all they do.
Yeah. Well, now
Every year.
you can acknowledge that. That's the world they're in. Okay.
What? Yeah, I'm jealous of that. I'm envious of it, but I don't like to see the same
Why can't
story
you
year in,
appreciate
year
it?
out.
I just don't understand why you can't appreciate it. Why can't you appreciate that?
I respect it. I don't appreciate it. How about that? I respect what they're doing. I don't appreciate it because it affects my view of college football.
I have, and this probably
Same thing
changed
every
in the
year.
last 3-ish years. I have a lot more interest and respect for Alabama because of the change they made stylistically on offense to adapt to where college football was going, versus if you would have had the 2012 Alabama team, you know, that version of where it's basically you're just like piling up rush yards. You have the best offensive line in the country. Like, I don't want to say it's boring, but it was relatively boring when they were winning that way. When you have a Bryce Young or a Tua Tagovailoa or a Mac Jones, and you have all this wide receiver talent, and you have like some random former coach as your offensive coordinator, it got a lot more fun with Alabama. But I understand, like I understand the fatigue of it. I didn't, you know, I would have preferred a Michigan in there or something to at least
different,
change it up. But the reality is this is what we got, and it was better than I expected it to be.
Hard shift. Let's ask Mike about Mike Schaefer.
You're going to ask Mike about Mike Schaefer.
We're going to ask Mike about the running back that had joined the program out of the portal from Texas A&M.
DeAndre Jackson's his name.
Okay, what is your assessment?
Well, he came out here for
Hard shift.
a visit in January of 2019. I think it was January 2019. And I remember at the time, like this was sort of unique because it was a junior day. It was a kid from Georgia. Like I didn't know what exactly the connection was that was bringing him up there or why Nebraska was kind of on the board for him. And then he was a big, you know, power kind of running back. And at the time, if you remember, coming off the 2018 season, they had lost to Vino Zigbo, and they basically were coming back with Mills, who we didn't know in January of 2019 if he was going to even be academically eligible at that time. If you can let yourself remember what things were sort of like at that point.
It was very bizarre, kind of.
Yeah. And then, you know, Maurice Washington, who is a running back, but is a very different kind of running back than a DeAndre Jackson. And so he sort of represented kind of this power element that I thought Nebraska was kind of coveting a little bit. And then, like all things, you're recruiting a kid out of Georgia and he's got offers to Auburn and Texas A&M. And, Nebraska eventually fell by the wayside and I stopped paying attention. And then, what was it? Like 5 nights ago, Steve Wiltfong throws in a random crystal ball for DeAndre Jackson. And it's one of those things, and I don't say this to toot my own horn, but like, I have this Rolodex of former guys Nebraska has recruited that like I could go back in my head because I hadn't heard that name in years.
DeAndre
and
Jackson.
it basically was like, oh, the junior day visitor, and then I had to like think of the year, but it was still like bizarre. I don't know where
amazing. You know that stuff.
I still don't know where or why it sort of ended up in the way that it did. But now they have this opportunity with this running back that I think Texas A&M thought was pretty talented, but they obviously had quite a bit of running backs ahead of them that it was
caught in the log jam.
It was going to be pretty hard for him to jump in front. I still think he sort of represents a little bit more of a beefier power element. Obviously, they have Marquise Stepp and Yant, and so my initial thoughts went to, okay, this doesn't look good for one of those guys. And then Anthony Grant is expected to visit this weekend as well. And that's
Anthony Grant. Tell us about Anthony.
That's a former Florida State bounce back that's at New Mexico Military Institute, which is where Zach Bowman went. If people need some sort of Nebraska connection there. They just won the NJCAA championship. He had rushed for I think 1,730 yards, 18 touchdowns, leading rusher. A lot of Dedrick Mills vibes from this. Former ACC running back, ends up in the junior college ranks, absolutely just dominates in his like full season, takes his team to the national championship. I think Mills came up a little bit short. Grant was able to help push New Mexico over the top. So I'm very curious, like if he has a good visit this weekend, like maybe they're adding a third running back in this class. If you go back to Emmett Johnson, who I think everybody has forgotten exists because he's not an early enrollee. And he had a very sort of unusual recruitment that, Ron Brown was really centered in. And now it doesn't feel like Ron Brown's going to be the running backs coach.
Yeah.
And Emmett Johnson has the ability to change positions. So I'm actually somewhat intrigued on that aspect. But Anthony Grant, maybe more so than DeAndre Jackson, is a guy that I am really kind of intrigued by. Talking to Chris Nee, who covers Florida State for us at 24/7 Sports, he said that Grant was one of those guys that just had a ton of talent, but life just kind of kept getting in the way. He had some issues when he was at Florida State. He had to eventually leave the program, bounce back junior college. Again, you get some Dedrick Mills vibes there. You get a little when you talk to people about Anthony Grant, and it's not that he's anywhere the same player, but you get kind of that wistfulness when Nebraska people talk about Maurice Washington, like someone that you think has the ability to just kind of be a really dynamic player. And so Anthony Grant, I'm really intrigued by. Again, he's out here he's supposed to be in this weekend. The visit list is very fluid right now. Everybody wants everyone to come to their campus, especially when you can still get a guy to commit, potentially sign his paperwork, and then can enroll for you.
Yeah. Okay. The question becomes now, if Nebraska still does not have an official running backs coach and they have guys come in,
Maybe they're gonna have a player coach.
Yeah, player coach.
What? How would a new coach come in feel about adding maybe 2 running backs in a week without him knowing who they are?
They might know. They might know who the guy is,
but they haven't hired anybody yet.
Well,
and there's 2 guys.
You don't know that.
2 new guys in here.
First of all, you don't know that.
Nothing's official.
I have to assume that they have arrived on whoever the person is going to be as the running backs coach, which is why we've seen such a flurry of activity. Right. It would be hard for me to believe that you're going to stock a room for somebody and then be like, all right, you come in and coach these guys. Here's a guy from junior college. Here's a guy from Texas A&M. Here's a high school kid from Minnesota. You didn't have any say in any of these guys. Oh, we also have Rahmir Johnson, Jock Yant, Marquise Stepp. Pick one. Yeah. I think there's at least someone.
Okay.
Again, I mean, Bill Bush was basically on staff for about a month before
they officially
that was announced. So I don't know that we've seen the most conventional use of announcing and using assistant coaches over the last month, and that's fine. Like it doesn't matter. Really, it just comes down to like fans and media people. Everybody wants to know the name, so then we can react to it.
We all want everything right now.
But I have to assume that the person has already been selected and is somewhat involved in shaping that room.
This past weekend, Nebraska did add a couple players also. Casey Thompson officially from Texas, and we'll get to him in a second. But I think people are curious about Trey Palmer from LSU, guy who can return kicks and punts. Somebody that's obviously a receiver. What was how long were they in on Trey Palmer for, and what's your assessment of him?
Well, I think they were in on Trey Palmer as soon as he basically left LSU. So that would have been in middle of December, something along those lines. Yes. So basically, I mean, once he leaves LSU and his former coach has a job at Nebraska, and Trey Palmer being the talent that he is, I mean, this is a guy that he's not a one-to-one replacement of Samori Toure, but he is someone that can absolutely turn things up for them as a kick returner and a punt returner. He's dynamic with the ball in his hands. Again, I'm going to say this, and people can ignore it if they want. I mean, one of the great things about working with 24/7 Sports is we have all these different sites to cover these teams.
Mm-hmm.
And so talking to people that have covered Trey Palmer, a lot of talent there. I don't think there's any question about the amount of talent that he has. I think there was some question as to how tough he could be, if he could be kind of a physical wide receiver. I don't know that they saw that. I don't know that Nebraska is going to ask him to do that. So we'll see what his role is. What I love about it, and what I think it does, and I'm very curious on your guys' thoughts on this, because I have a theory I'm going to bring to you at some point in time. I think that Mickey Joseph now has a guy that he can use in his room and basically point at and be like, this guy knows the ropes.
Like
this
Trey
guy knows.
Neal.
Yep.
Like
a more talented, maybe bigger upside Trey Neal, but this is a guy who's being brought in to sort of be the lead by example and help kind of show them, like, this is what's the expectation. Like, this was a guy that was our third or fourth receiver at LSU. He's here, and he's probably not necessarily in terms of statistics going to be our number one receiver, but he's already going to be a leader in the room because he knows what's expected of him.
Jake, do you remember Trey Neal?
I do.
UCF.
He was a dentist.
Yeah. We wanted to be
dental
a dentist.
school.
Yeah. Yes. I don't know if he's a dentist at this point.
He was going to dentist. What?
Yeah.
He wanted to be a dentist.
He wasn't a dentist.
Of course,
I
remember Trey Neal. Yeah. I
He
thought he was
wanted to
a
be
very unique player.
Yeah.
So
Interesting guy.
I really think that Palmer, a lot of it is going to be Mickey Joseph kind of using him to basically be like, okay,
Good
Omar,
take. Good
Xavier,
take. Right.
you guys want to play? Come to work.
Right.
This is what Trey's doing.
Yeah.
This is what, this is a guy who followed Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson and guys like that. Like, he saw how they worked. You're seeing how he works. You think he worked hard before. This is what we do here now. Like, I really think, and so my theory, and I'll throw it out here before we go to break, I think there's, as much as like you talk about the professionalism and the experience of hiring a Mickey Joseph and a Mark Whipple and a Bill Bush, the biggest thing to me that has changed in the last month, I think Nebraska has went out and got coaches that have a little bit of an edge and an attitude to them in an effort to shift the attitude in that room. In the football room, in the football walls, in the culture over there.
Yeah.
I don't know that it was necessarily complacency over there, but now you have guys that the expectation was that not only do you win at a high level. You have two assistant coaches that were involved with a program that won national titles. I mean, the expectations of what they're going to bring in, and Mickey Joseph throwing the gauntlet down on a Sunday morning of like, if you're going to play wide receiver for me, you're going to play special teams. Like, there's an edge and an attitude that, and it's not like I knew Matt Lubick really well. Matt Lubick didn't have that, or he didn't feel like he had that when he met with the media.
That's the way you got to be careful in the conversation. I don't want to.
Maybe he did as an assistant coach,
right? I don't want to say that like Held and Austin didn't have that. I get what you're saying,
but maybe there's a varying degree.
Sure,
of what these guys
degrees.
have.
It's degrees, right? You're talking about a matter of degrees.
And I think for Nebraska to be successful, they do have to shift their attitude too.
Yeah, new. I mean, new blood could equal new urgency, new energy.
Well,
I think some of it's that. But I'm with you. I get what you're saying. Bush and Mickey came from a program that, like Jake said when we had Ed Orgeron on, it might have been the best team in college football history. I mean, in the SEC world, every day there's urgency. Now, was there urgency every day for Nebraska? I mean, we set up, and on some of this, I feel like we're culpable, media fans. We set it up for Frost where, hey, you got 7 years. You're the man. Just go at. I mean, I just think the way it was set up here works against urgency. The way we approached this with Frost works against the idea of urgency.
I think there needed to be.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think kind of how I would phrase it is this, is there needs to be sort of a shift in the mentality of instead of reacting to what bad is going on,
exactly,
it's creating for yourself the
Right.
opportunities to go win games and
Right.
to go be successful.
Right.
I think Nebraska's been really reactionary. It needs to be more on the assertive side.
Remember Bill Callahan, what he said? We don't feel pressure, we apply pressure.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of been
I
lacking.
think that's I do too.
And I don't mean that it's just like they're over there singing Kumbaya.
No,
every
it's not
day.
that.
But
It's, again, it's a matter of degree.
There's a certain edge that I have already felt from sitting down with Mickey Joseph, from following him on Twitter, from listening to these radio interviews that I think also applies to a guy like Bill Bush, who basically, I think last night basically said recruiting isn't like you either can recruit or you can't. Like that's the kind of mentality that he has, and he's a guy that we know can recruit well. Like I think that mentality, if it can foster over to this roster, can be really helpful.
I'll tell you what Bush said that goes along with this. Just give me a second. And it goes perfectly along with this. Okay. Oh, every down is fourth down on special teams.
Yeah.
Jake, every down is fourth down. It's not second and 4. Okay. A program can have a second and 4 mentality when it should have a fourth down mentality. All right, we got to get this fourth down. Second and 4, we got another down to play with.
I also want to make
you
sure,
don't. I mean, not right now. Nebraska doesn't.
It doesn't mean
It's
that
fourth
this
down
is,
right now.
Yeah, it doesn't mean that this is guaranteed to work, but at least it feels like there's some sort of a shift beyond shuffling the chairs of who's in the room.
Yeah,
I feel like there is at least going to be a mentality shift when we're over there in the spring. Maybe I could be completely wrong.
No, I think you're right. But I know what people are when they're driving to work. What they're saying to themselves is, why did they wait so long? Right? His back's against the wall now.
Well, same thing.
Some of this is just created by the fact his back is against the wall.
Can it not sometimes be as simple as Scott Frost has never failed at anything?
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't have life experiences that show him like, oh, you weren't successful here.
Not really.
I mean, I guess he had to transfer from Stanford, and he ended up at a place where he won a national title.
He lost games in the NFL.
Yeah, sure. Like
on teams,
there's that, but like this is sort of new territory. Like when you are just scrapping for anything and in everything to kind of work, like
it's kind of fun.
You
I hope he's having fun with it.
I don't think he is.
Well, I mean, you can.
To be honest, it's almost impossible to tell whenever Scott Frost is
But
having fun.
I hope he's having some fun. I mean, this could be a great period of growth for him. I mean,
Well,
that's what you
you're-
hope for.
right.
That's what you're hoping.
I mean, he's expanding his network. He's operating with a lot of pressure, more pressure now than ever. So I think he can grow from that.
And should it have taken 4 years to get to this point? I don't know. I mean, I don't think so. I
don't think so.
I'm someone of the mindset that he's very, very lucky to even have the opportunity to make these changes. But this is where we are now, and this is kind of how I feel.
But you're right, Schaefer. I think you portray it right. It's gone well for him. He's handled this offseason really well.
I mean, if you would have been like, Mike, how do you think things are going to play out the day after they fired all of those coaches in November? I would have started making circus music or something.
Yeah, this
I just
hasn't
did
been a
not have an
circus.
expectation
Yeah.
that
This
it would go
hasn't
as well as it has.
Yeah, this hasn't been a circus. I mean, he got the best quarterback you could expect you could expect right in this situation.
If you have any questions for Mike Schaefer, please call or text 464-5685. More next on Early Break on the Ticket.
Mike Schaefer here for Trek CBD. There's a lot of CBD shops opening up in Lincoln, but Trek CBD focuses on quality above all else. Their products are from local CBD company Nico Farms and are third-party laboratory tested. They have products that can help with stress, anxiety, pain, relief, and more, and have a wide selection of Delta 8, including Serene 8. Trek CBD is locally owned and operated. Go visit Scott or Shannon at their 84th and Highway 2 location or at 27th and S, or go online to Trek CBD with free delivery. Trek CBD. CBD done right.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now, they're hiring for production operators at $21.72 an hour and other select jobs starting at $23.42 an hour, with wages growing up to $27.55 an hour. Continental also has salary jobs available with great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates. To learn more or apply, go to continentaljobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Gaina Trucking guarantees a 40-hour work week year-round, and their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Yesterday, your water heater worked just fine. Today, surprise! When you're out of hot water, just call the plumbers at Bryant. In most cases, you can get same-day water heater replacement. What you won't get is a costly surprise with the bill. At Bryant, the price you're quoted is the price you'll pay. No last-minute extras for piping or ventilation alterations. Need a new water heater? Just call Bryant, 467-1111. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. We do whatever it takes.
You know you want that smoky, tangy, sweet, and spicy sauced and tossed Wingstop. But you just brought a haul of groceries home from the store. It's cool. No one expects you to shop and cook in the same day. So let the flavor experts at Wingstop hook you up with mouth-watering wings, crispy tenders and thighs, fries and sides delivered to your door. You can always cook tomorrow. That's why the fridge was invented. Get it delivered at wingstop.com.
Order online now from the new Wingstop located at 5001 O Street.
Brokers Insurance Agency is currently hiring full-time and part-time insurance professionals. They will provide you with the training and education to obtain your insurance licenses. Brokers Insurance Agency takes pride in educating clients with the best insurance program to help their clients meet their specific goals. If you're a hard-working, motivated person and would like to discuss a great career opportunity with Brokers Insurance Agency, please call Ken Richards at 402-420-5353 or email service@brokersinsuranceagencyne.com. The team at Brokers Insurance Agency is looking forward to helping you get started with your insurance career.
Alanos businesses need reliable communication, both at and at home, now more than ever. Just listen to Bill Mitchner from Lighthouse.
Before we'd have breaks in service, especially for internet, but we've never had any issues with Allo. It's always been there and available when we needed it.
At Allo, supporting your business is our business. To get your free quote and switch today, visit allofiber.com/workfast or call 402-480-6685 today.
Hey, Steve. Welcome to Great Clips.
Great Clips asks, what's the difference between good and great?
Come on back and have a seat.
Good asks you what haircut you'd like.
I have all your details from last time. Would you like the same haircut today?
Great already knows. With Clip Notes, we save your haircut details so you can get the same thing as last time, every time. Download our online check-in app today. Great Clip. It's gonna be great.
You spend more time in your garage than outdoors in the wintertime. Isn't it time to get it organized? Call Travis at Classic Garage Solutions for his variety of organization packages. Turn your garage from a cluttered mess to a clean, organized space that'll be the envy of the neighborhood and something you can be proud of. You don't need to bring the same clutter from last year into the new year. Travis has storage options for cabinets, monkey bar shelving, or slat wall, and more. Call Classic Garage Solutions today at 402-730-1638.
This
good morning, little brother.
is Early Break with Sip and Jake, brought to you by Gaina Trucking. Weekday mornings from 6 to 8 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Once again, any questions for Mike Schaefer, please call or text 402-464-5685. The Mike Schaefer Hour is sponsored by Trek CBD, 2 Lincoln locations. We did not get into the quarterback at all last segment. Nebraska does add Casey Thompson on Friday. Chubba Purdy visiting tomorrow.
Yes, Chubba.
He's been in Oklahoma at least for a day or two.
How about that?
Any word? Yeah, that was so. Casey Thompson commits Friday. Then we get the news that Purdy's going to visit Oklahoma like right after that, basically. Where does Nebraska stand with Chubba Purdy from what you heard this week?
Well, I mean, they're going to have their opportunity this weekend. I think the relationship there is pretty strong. Obviously, Mark Whipple was putting in work before he was even hired by Nebraska. And so I think that certainly helps. I think there's some connections between Whipple and Purdy that run pretty deep, that go back to kind of the Scottsdale, Arizona area.
Yeah.
I think they have a lot of similar connections. I expect Nebraska ends up with this commitment, but who knows? I didn't expect Oklahoma to make an offer. I think Oklahoma's quarterback situation beyond Dylan Gabriel is cause for concern over there. And so they are in a similar boat where it's like, we got to have, Dylan Gabriel had a season-ending injury at UCF. Like, we got to have somebody if this goes south. And so I think that's kind of where Purdy comes in at. And look, I mean, that's a better opportunity than Nebraska. So we'll see if that weighs into all of it.
It is.
But I do think that the connection between Whipple and Purdy, and I think those run pretty deep, I think that'll help.
Do you know if Purdy goes to Oklahoma or elsewhere, is there another quarterback out there beyond Casey Thompson that committed that they're looking at?
I feel like we had this conversation last week, and I don't feel that it's Chubba Purdy or bust by any means. I mean, if there's, there's going to be other quarterbacks that are in the portal. You go into the spring with Casey Thompson and Logan Smothers and Heinrich Harburg and Richard Torres, and you just keep an eye out.
Masker.
Well, yeah, you have your walk-ons, Masker, Cynic. I don't know how
Hey,
far we
well,
need to go
Stetson
down
Bennett was a walk-on. Hello.
True,
I mean,
true.
Just won a national
Can't forget
title.
that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just saying.
Let me know when Nebraska has a defensive lineman as good as Georgia
I'm
Davis.
just saying.
Yeah.
Masker. Anyway, yeah. So what you're suggesting, which I agree with, if you are suggesting it, you don't have to necessarily have somebody in place.
Ideally, you would like that, but there's
you can wait till
I
you
feel
can
like
wait
we've
it
said
out.
this every single Thursday since mid-November. There's going to be more quarterbacks in the portal.
Yeah, in
There's
May.
going to be another Chubba Purdy.
Yeah,
his name won't be Chubba Purdy,
right?
But it'll be the similar kind of guy that needs an opportunity to land with his feet somewhere and have a chance.
Yeah, I don't get all.
I wouldn't. Honestly, I wouldn't be overly upset if I was a Nebraska fan and he chooses Oklahoma. I don't think that's what's going to happen.
No.
But there's enough quarterbacks. I think Casey Thompson is very clearly, if healthy, the guy that it's going to be for 2022. This next position is to pit them against Logan Smothers and see who develops.
So do you understand,
And
Jake,
I get
what we're talking about? Spring ball will occur. People will lose jobs. Quarterbacks, they'll lose jobs. They'll get shifted down the depth chart. Into the portal they go. You can go into the portal in late April or whenever this is and get a quarterback. They're available. They're going to be available. Okay. It's not. Yeah, I'm with Schaefer. It's not Chubba Purdy or bust.
Yeah. I'm also somewhat skeptical. If you go get a second quarterback, how much time are they really going to get with Mark Whipple in the spring? Because I would assume he and Casey Thompson are going to be attached at the hip.
Okay, now hold on. That's a great question.
Everyone wants to talk about development of these younger guys. Nebraska's in a win or go home situation.
Right.
It's going to be Casey Thompson with Mark Whipple all the time.
Now hold on now, Shafe. We just stumbled into a very interesting discussion. I don't think it can be that way. I get it though, because of the fourth down nature of the season.
I think you have to.
I just don't agree that they can be attached at the hip because you still do have to develop a backup.
Well, I'm not saying that you're ignoring those other guys, but it's not a traditional spring.
No, it's not.
It's not last spring
it's
where
not.
you have Adrian and it's like you're going to work with him, but you also want to see what you have with Logan and you want to see what you have with Heinrich and those guys are going to play, so it's a very different vibe.
Hold on. You can pull this off. There's an obvious way. Whipple, yeah, he might be attached to Charles, but Frost has got to help. Frost has got to develop those other guys. He has to be in that picture. Frost is a quarterback's coach.
He's the CEO. He needs to be walking around seeing how everything's going.
That's a good
Remember,
point.
we can't have the dual narratives pushing against each other.
And I got you. That's a good point.
Now, they're going to have graduate assistants and quality control
that too.
coach. And,
you better have a good one there.
Steve Cooper's been involved.
Yeah.
Steve Cooper is someone who I just kind of want to give a quick shout out. The work that he did when they moved on from those coaches in November, he was involved with stuff
really well
there. He's been on the road recruiting for Nebraska. He's recruiting Anthony Grant right now for Nebraska. That was one of the names that was given to me by Anthony the other day. So, they're getting a lot of mileage out of some of these guys. And if Steve Cooper's around in the spring, he's going to be working with those quarterbacks.
Yeah. A person like Cooper's really important in that discussion.
So I'm not trying to say that Mark Whipple won't be involved, but you have to at least consider that Whipple and Thompson are going to be around each other a lot.
Situational.
Because their fates and Nebraska's fate is all kind of tied to the same thing.
It's fourth down, Jake.
Now that we officially have Casey Thompson in Nebraska, how do you compare him to Adrian? Is it an upgrade, a downgrade, the same thing? What's the
not
comparison?
official yet, by the way?
Well, so now he's
Can't
he's
really say
he's
that.
committed, I guess.
Yeah. It's not official till he gets aid.
True. Okay. Now that it looks like he'll be at Nebraska. How about
Sybil,
that?
what are you saying?
Nothing.
Is it now really Chuba Purdy or bust?
No.
Is this why
But
Thompson and Whipple
these
won't
things
be?
are you always got.
We
have to lay
Dylan
that out.
Gabriel is
In
why
this
this is
world, though, in this world, you have to.
No, that's a good point.
because Dylan Gabriel went from UCF to UCLA and then Oklahoma.
Right.
That's why.
So,
But yeah,
I think that from a pure talent standpoint, Adrian is probably the more talented of the two. From just like a physical gifted ability.
Bigger.
Now,
faster.
That being said, I have watched a number of quarterbacks that are significantly less talented than Adrian Martinez pile up wins in the Big Ten West. I don't think that there's a reason that I have to pit what Casey Thompson's total talent is against Adrian and then make it, well, if he's less talented, they're going to win less games. I don't think it's going to work like that because I think he can help Nebraska in areas that can maximize their roster that Adrian wasn't as efficient at. I think he's going to be a far better passer for if you're trailing in a game and you're like, Mike, would you rather have Casey Thompson running this 2-minute drill or Adrian Martinez? You wouldn't even finish Casey Thompson's last name before I'm telling you that's who I'd rather have in.
I get that. I mean, it's interesting.
Situationally, they're different.
Right.
And I think that it benefits Nebraska to a degree. Now, they have the same issue. It's who's going to be around them.
Yeah.
Who's going to make their life easier. Trey Palmer is a good start. That's not everything.
It's a pretty good start.
DeAndre Jackson, I don't know. I don't know if he's going to make.
Well,
life
you never
easier.
know. I mean, Ramir Johnson's 5'11",
Well, we know
200 now.
Mark Whipple likes Ramir Johnson a lot.
Yeah, I like him.
So, and look, Oliver Martin, Omar Manning, Xavier Betts, there's a lot of talent there. Like, are they going to take a step from we're talented and people like us and they want to talk about us to all of a sudden other opposing teams have to worry about us on the field?
They have to find a running back that just doesn't get what's blocked. They get in excess of that. They have guys that can get what's blocked.
They need their Blake Corum or, Hassan Haskins or
God.
guys that just fight for that extra 2 yards.
Can you imagine how much different these conversations would be if they had a Hassan Haskins, Amir Abdullah?
I don't think Nebraska's 3-9 next year.
No.
Or not next year, but last year.
Right. If they just had that piece, if you had Amir Abdullah, that one piece, I don't know how many wins it equates to, but it's a lot different conversation.
Nebraska hasn't
ifs and buts,
recruited.
man. Ifs and buts.
Oh, I know.
They haven't recruited a running back that's been drafted since
I don't know.
Amir Abdullah. Is
Yeah,
that right?
2014.
That's it,
2014, he was a second rounder, and there hasn't been anybody since. That's amazing. I never
I mean,
thought
you want
I'd
to talk
say
about like linking the downfall of where Nebraska's at now to like a singular position and
running back.
like when I grew up, running back was like what you knew Nebraska for.
It was a given, right?
In terms
It
of
was a given.
it'd be defense and running back. Like those are the two things that you knew you were getting.
It's
with Nebraska.
amazing what's happened here, and I'm startled that Hell didn't bring that back because I think he was intent on it, and it just didn't get done, Mike. It didn't get
Well,
done.
you had to get the right guy. You had to be able to develop that guy. The relationship between that guy and the coach needed to be
He
good.
brought in guys that weren't that level.
Yeah.
They just weren't. I mean, there's just no other way to put it.
Didn't work out.
Now, it could still work out for a couple of those guys, though, like Ramir. I mean, I don't know. We'll see what he looks like in the spring. I like him because he runs hard and he booms it up between the tackles. He does. You got to say that. He when they ask him to run between the tackles, Jake,
he does.
He
Right.
hammers it. He hammers
You
it.
just don't know that you're going to get anything additional out of it than what's right there.
Right.
And that's not to knock on him. He does things well, but it's just there's a difference between doing things well and being special.
Yes.
And they haven't had a special running back in a long time.
Right.
It's been too long. Let's play the game. So give us a call right now, 402-464-5685. A chance to win a business box of bagels to Bagels and Joe and Shut Up Sipple. Sip is 2-1 on the week, going for a winning week by Thursday. Today's topic is Throwback Thursday.
Has that week thing down.
The 2014 NFL Draft.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
2014?
It's pretty recent.
That's pretty
Schaefer's
random.
in his wheelhouse here.
Yeah, that's really
think
random.
you know your 2014 NFL Draft, 402-464-5685. Shut Up Sipple starts right now.
We've all been there. You're listening to the radio, and then that rage starts to grow inside of you. It starts to consume you. It gets to a point where you just want to yell, "Shut up, Sipple!" No, sorry. I'm sorry. Well, here's your chance. It's time to shut up, Sipple. Call now to play. 464-5685. Shut up, Sipple. Brought to you by Bagels and Joe.
464-5685. Call the Takedown Sip and Trivia. How do you feel today, Sip, about the 2014 NFL Draft?
I feel, it helps to have Schaefer as a security blanket.
Schaefer knows where he was watching this at, is what he said.
I actually had just recently went back through because Rick Spielman was fired, and I went back through all their first round picks. And,
Did you?
And what they had been doing, and so I feel like I feel like I have a pretty good feel for the 2014.
Did you do that?
All right.
Yeah.
All right, Dave.
Student of the game.
Dave, how do you feel about the 2014 NFL Draft?
I just hope I can get over the Schaefer hump.
Okay, trying to get over the Schaefer hump. That's a big hump to get over for this for this category.
Don't worry, it's still Steve on his own for 3 of the questions.
That's right.
Let's do the Humpty Hump.
All right, on that note, let's start the game. Dave,
How about that? How about that?
No, that was not song of the day. Maybe it could be going
It could
forward.
be, though. Do the
Dave,
Humpty dance.
what wide receiver from Texas A&M did the Bucks take 7th overall in the 2014 NFL Draft?
Oh, that's got to be Mike Evans.
Wow.
Mike Evans.
Duran Petaway's best friend.
That's right.
Hello?
You didn't know this?
No, I didn't
Mike
know
Evans
this.
came to Nebraska basketball games.
He did.
There's stuff I don't know.
Back
It's
when Nebraska
incredible.
was good. Nebraska was kind of good back.
It's incredible what I don't know. It is.
I felt like this is fairly common.
That was a
knowledge.
pretty common knowledge.
Now I'm back on my heels a little bit. I don't know.
It's
All right.
It's incredible what I don't know. I will tell you that.
All right, Sip, for the tie, you can use Schaefer still.
Okay.
First question. What linebacker from UCLA did the Vikings take 9th overall in the 2014 NFL Draft? I would probably use your lifeline here.
Okay. Yeah. You're just handing me one. Mike Schaefer, the floor is yours.
This would be someone that I just have not enjoyed a lot during his career. He's been hurt. He costs too much. His name is Anthony Barr. And for some reason, Mike Zimmer loved to put him in coverage against Cooper Kupp, which, it's going to go really well.
Not wise for a linebacker to be in coverage on
a guy that should be a defensive end, but he's a linebacker.
Yeah, well, Mike Zimmer's gone now.
Humans
so.
do really odd things, and that would fall under that category.
Yeah, that was
All right, so Schaefer's out. You're on your own, Sip, but you're tied 1-1. Dave, last question for a 2-1 lead. What defensive tackle from Pittsburgh did the Rams take 13th overall in 2014?
Probably Aaron Donald.
I did know that.
Definitely Aaron Donald.
Yeah, I would say that was a layup.
Well, people say the callers
This is a
don't get
pretty
enough
good
layup.
draft if
It
you
was.
go back through the names.
Yeah.
All right, Sip, you're on your own. Last question to tie it up and go to the tiebreaker. What offensive tackle from Michigan did the Titans take 11th overall in 2014?
That would be Taylor Lewan.
Look at you.
Look at that. Was impressive by yourself. All right, Dave, this goes to you because it was Sip yesterday. So, Dave,
Damning me with faint praise once again.
Dave, this is to you. Here is the question. What number of pick was Penn State's Allen Robinson to the Jaguars in 2014?
He's putting out the number?
Yep. What number of pick was he, Dave?
Ooh,
got to get this.
Jaguars. Shoot, they were kind of good there for a bit. Let's say 15.
15th overall.
Whoa, that's a good one. I think he put a good number out there. So he was
he drafted above 15th?
Yeah,
or
he
after
was
15th?
a higher pick than 15th. Oh God.
Was he a second round guy?
He was 61st overall, late second round.
Allen Robinson?
Allen
Yeah.
Robinson. That's right. 61st overall.
That was tricky, Jake.
I didn't try to
You
trick
trickster.
you. Schaefer had it right. He said second round.
Well, I would have guessed like 45.
Okay,
Like just
well,
you
that's-
pick the middle of the second
yeah,
round.
that's a pretty
and you
good
just
guess.
kinda-
I thought he was pretty good.
He was good, but he went second round, late second round. Dave, congrats. We got your bagels. Thanks for calling in and calling down the road.
That hurts.
Thanks.
Good stuff. We got
That
Dave.
hurts.
His bagels from Eagle Delivery, the courier of the
God,
ticket.
that hurts. Jake, that is painful.
Yep. Well, that's the way it
That's
goes.
a painful loss. Yeah, I don't know where we get in arguments all the time about some losses being different than others, and I think I'm once again contradicting myself and being a hypocrite. The close losses hurt more than the blowouts. Is that my stance on those?
I think so.
Yeah, I don't even know what my
It's-
stance.
Yeah, you had a
close losses.
50-50 chance.
No,
The
yeah.
guy said a number and you could have went either way.
I've always said blowouts don't bother me as much as close losses. So I'm
Yep.
not being a hypocrite. I'm actually that hurts me
That's
more than
more
getting
painful
blown
than-
out. Yeah,
Okay.
that hurts me more than getting blown out. God,
Schaefer, thank
dang
you.
it. Yeah,
Fun,
Schaefer,
fun as
thank
always.
Happy to be here.
We'll see you next Thursday.
Sounds good.
We'll wrap things up with a spillover next on Early Break in the Ticket.
In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels and Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels and Joe.
Bagels and Joe is ready for winter with white chocolate raspberry cream cheese, great on any bagel. And try a grilled Italian panini for lunch with ham, prosciutto, banana peppers, and provolone on a sun-dried tomato bagel. Bagels and Joe, 4 Lincoln locations. At Buffalo Wings and Rings, they've crafted a new league of superior chicken sandwiches. Meet the Ringers. It's premium, house-made, beer-battered, fried chicken served buffalo, Korean, or MVP style. Head to Buffalo Wings and Rings Lincoln and raise a glass to superior chicken. 2 locations at 68th and O and at 40th and Old Cheney. Buffalo Wings and Rings.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Gaina Trucking guarantees a 40-hour work week year-round, and their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by Security First Bank, a relationship you can count on.
Expect sunshine and mild conditions again. We'll top out near 57, a northwest wind at 10 to 15. A few clouds moving into the region tonight, a low of 30. Tomorrow we'll hold a high of 42, but falling afternoon temps. North winds eventually gusting 35 to 40, and a chance of snow moving in by late tomorrow afternoon. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Mike Shaver here for Trek CBD. There's a lot of CBD shops opening up in Lincoln, but Trek CBD focuses on quality above all else. Their products are from local CBD company Nico Farms and are third-party laboratory tested. They have products that can help with stress, anxiety, pain, relief, and more, and have a wide selection of Delta 8, including Serene 8. Trek CBD is locally owned and operated. Go visit Scott or Shannon at their 84th and Highway 2 location or at 27th and S, or go online to Trek CBD with free delivery. Trek CBD. CBD done right.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
We're on the air.
Back
Well, party's starting early today, isn't it?
to more of Early Break with Sip and Jay, brought to you by Gaina Trucking. On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
I lied. Schaefer's sticking around for one more segment.
Good.
How about that?
Good. This
DP
is good.
joins us. Jay Foreman out today, but Schaefer takes the spot for this segment at least. Good morning, DP.
Good morning, gentlemen. So DP, you're going to carry a heavy load today.
I'm going to
That's every
carry.
day.
I'm going to. No, actually, today is going to. It will be the easiest day of the week for me because I will not be here until 10:30 with the nighttime shows.
Okay.
So.
Jeez.
Yeah.
You're working.
Yeah. I hung out a little bit with Aaron Davis and Chris Raff last night. Buzzy came in late. Today I'm getting out of here.
At
you take a nap?
Terrell Farley and Rashawn are going to go at 11, so probably 11:30.
God, that Vershawn's interview with Jamal Lord was extraordinary.
It's a weird.
You love Jamal Lord.
Oh, he's a dude.
You love
He's
Jamal
a dude. Just listen to the interview. He's a dude.
Well, Carricker's agreed to come on that show every Tuesday at 12.
Wow.
He's been pretty stellar. Farley's an amazing character just to be around, and his energy is kind of crazy.
Like his on-field energy was.
Can I request for Terrell Farley to watch the Big Red Rock video of himself and his highlights from the? I would like to see
Expand on that.
to his own.
Expand on that.
So my favorite, like the YouTube video I have watched the most in my life, is this Terrell Farley highlight video.
Okay.
In which I swear to you, he scored more touchdowns in like the 95, 96 seasons combined
than I think Nebraska running backs have in the last 2 years.
I cannot disagree.
Like, he is
freaky,
incredible. As a kid, I was telling Jake this before we started this morning because I looked at the board and I saw he was on for Wednesday and Thursday.
Yeah.
Terrell Farley was my favorite player as a kid because he just, like, when you're 10 years old, that dude captivates you in a way that, you know, like, he is just on fire. He is playing on fire.
Sure. Hey.
I mean, like, I remember against Florida, he batted the ball up in the air and then almost caught it for like a defensive touchdown. It just like his energy, his attitude, he was wrecking anyone and everyone that came towards him. A punter, receiver.
Oh, yeah, he's a great
kick
special
returner,
teams player. Yeah,
running back. Like, if you turn the corner and he was there, you didn't go any further.
Well, see, think about it.
Yeah.
We're talking. We can say Terrell Farley is one of the most explosive players to ever play defense for Nebraska. Now, think about what that means.
Yeah.
When you think about the guys that you're talking about, but
Well, he was
when
a
you think of
hybrid.
Farley, I get chills.
He was
that
a
good.
hybrid player before they existed.
Exactly.
He was JoJo Domann
Exactly.
before JoJo Domann existed. Like, he could play in the secondary. He could play as a linebacker.
Yeah.
They could put him as a defensive end on
Unique.
third down.
Unique.
And he did that all at what, like 6'1",
Not that big.
215 pounds? Like, I mean, he was just a missile.
Yeah, he's not a big guy.
No, he's not.
You know, up close, you kind of look, wow, you have the heart, man. That's where that.
Have you seen this highlight video?
Yeah.
I have not.
And
I
then
need to see that.
it's backed by name of the game.
Yeah, is that what that is?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Yeah, I'll have to watch it again. Yeah, text in.
It's
or
not
call-
a safe for work video.
No,
Don't watch it at work with
no.
the volume up. The
No,
music
no.
lyrics will get
Yeah.
you in trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some words that aren't radio
Yeah,
friendly.
call in and say hi, because it just there's so to get Farley to commit to being anywhere on time and place every he was like, some days I'm in, some days I'm not. Like, that's just how. That's just I got a life. I got stuff.
No, I would just love a segment where he watches his own highlight video and
then
walks
Mickey,
you through what he was seeing.
And then Mickey
Kick that
Joseph
guy's
will be in as well.
When is that?
Yeah, today it's in Vashon's segment.
Whoa,
he's loading it up. I'm there.
Yeah.
And, okay,
Thank you for. Okay, what time is that approximately?
That's 12:30.
Okay, Joseph. Good to know.
Yeah,
Good to
it's so funny that there are people who get mad when the old Huskers talk.
I don't understand that.
I
What do you say about that, DP?
Well, it's a chance to hear from people who actually played the games
At a high level,
right?
I think you go back there anytime you can. Is what I think.
Yeah, I mean, so Aaron and Chris had on Dave Remington last night, and Remington he just hung out and told stories. I mean, Mike Menner is one of my favorite Huskers, and he was on, and he spent an hour on just rehashing. Like, he was just like, no, here's all the stuff you have to do. And then he talked about the transfer portal as a coach. I mean, he's a head coach, so he's giving insight on how he approaches it. And I thought it was fascinating. I mean, Adam Carricker is one of the great storytellers, period. So having him on, I just sit back, like I sit there like a little kid. I'm like, okay.
Isn't there something to be said for, in order to understand where you're going, you have to understand where you came from. And so I'm talking about the program.
Yeah.
So I think it's okay to go back to those guys. I like going back to them. I like knowing what Trev Alberts did as a player, going back to those days, because that's when they were doing it the best. What's wrong with going back? I know what people are saying. Why do you want to live in the past? Well, it informs you a little bit. I mean, and I think I love going back there. I do.
It's
resetting
resetting the standards.
Yeah.
Right. That, hey, there is
revisiting the standards.
There is a way for Nebraska to be elite.
It was
like you can't say Nebraska can't be elite in football.
You better not say
right
that.
like that. That's not true.
Yeah.
So then that just resets the boundary. Hey, keep working.
Mm-hmm.
Keep working. These weren't the biggest guys, the strongest guys, fastest guys, but they were the best.
This is where you bring up what Trev said. He said the other day, we need to start with being the most physical team in the Midwest. Now that's a good mission statement to me. That makes sense.
Way to go.
Yes, you do.
Long way.
And he said that. He said, we're just tying our shoes right now. We're just tying our shoes. He said we're basically starting over.
Learning to tie their shoes.
Yeah, we're learning to tie our shoes right now. But that's what he said. I think, hey, just forget talking about Alabama and Georgia right now. right now. Let's just be the most physical team in the Midwest. Now that makes sense.
Well, the most physical team on the field that day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
ultimately in the Midwest.
Well, no,
Right,
look,
right.
you better start where you start.
Right.
You better
Yeah.
You better figure out how to beat each other up.
Because we took that for granted here. We
Yeah,
did, guys.
yeah.
We did. Nebraska was always the most physical team on the field on Saturdays back in the day. And we came to take that for granted. It's not that way anymore. I don't know when we started to take it for granted, but we did.
Well, I just think they're great.
Or
stories.
when we started to lose it, I'm not sure exactly.
Well, when you cleared out your building.
Would you say that was in 03 probably?
Cleaned out the building,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
You know, there's that. Jake, great job with the teammates, folks. They
Yeah, that show sounded. I
I
listened to it. Sounded great.
yeah,
Great
yeah,
stuff.
The
That was
teammates
6 to
hour
7
every
p.m.
Wednesday
last night.
night. Good stuff. Great stories. Yeah. So
Good.
It was a good night.
Good. Glad to hear that. Schaefer, question for you before we get out of here. I'm curious. You and I, both of our teams, Vikings, Dolphins, have openings right now for head coaches. One of us is happy. That's you. Mike Zimmer's out. One of us is not. That Brian Flores is out. To you, what, and DP, obviously you're huge in the NFL. What is the better job opening right now of those two?
I mean, I'm obviously like super biased, but Minnesota's roster, I mean, you have Dalvin Cook, Justin Jefferson, Irv Smith Jr., who people didn't even get to see this year because he tore his ACL, but he would have been their starting tight end. And then, whether those guys are still there or not, but if you're a veteran offensive mind, you have Kirk Cousins, who at the very least 33 touchdowns, 7 interceptions in a year in which they ran the ball 60% of the time. So I just think from an offensive standpoint, like you inherit a lot more in Minnesota. Defensively, it is a mess. So and then cap-wise, you kind of have to figure out, okay, Kirk Cousins has a $45 million cap hit. Do you let him play out one more year and then you build things after that? Do you try to trade him right away? So there's some big questions there. I think Minnesota is the sort of job that with a halfway competent coach in 2021 and 2020, you make the playoffs back both years. I mean, they missed the playoffs by one game each of the last 2 years. They lost to the Lions this year. They lost to Cooper Rush this year. They lost in overtime 2 times this year. Their kicker missed a field goal multiple times. It's like the amount of ways the Vikings could have made the playoffs to go lose in the first round is multiple. So if you want a job as a coach where you have an opportunity to win right away, I think that Minnesota presents itself really well because you still have the Lions and the Bears in the division.
True.
And you don't know if Aaron Rodgers is going to be there in 2022.
That's a good point.
Jake?
DP? I'll ask DP. What
Yeah,
do you think's the
DP.
best job? Better one. Vikings, Dolphins.
Oh, the legacy part is all Bears. Being king in Chicago of the football Bears is different than being the king in Minneapolis. But as Schaefer said, the talent in Minnesota, sans Kirk Cousins, because I have a bad ex relationship with Kirk Cousins.
Football team fan.
Yeah.
I was actually thinking about this the other day. Post Kirk Cousins, your team has had even worse quarterback play. How does that make you feel?
Jeez.
Let's just attack a man while he's down.
I'm just saying, like, football team fans basically just like dumped all over this guy. And since then, like, he hasn't been great, but at the same time, you see what it's like to basically just have an even worse quarterback.
Here's the thing. I was not anti-Kirk when he was in DC. A lot of fans went that route, right? It's that Husker thing where you're successful, you're winning, a championship, but you're competing for it in your division every year, but you're not getting over the hump every year. And I'm like, well, be careful about what you ask for, because you're going to get it. And they asked for Kirk to be gone, and I didn't understand it.
Yeah.
And Kirk's gone, and now Alex Smith was 11-5.
Okay.
Nobody else had
Yeah.
a winning record.
Okay.
Like, at some point, fans need to just chill.
Yeah, well, it's
just
I
chill.
feel like it's really hard in the NFL because I don't think Kirk Cousins is a top 12 quarterback in the league, but somewhere between like 13 and 16, and like that's good enough to get you to the playoffs.
Well, you're
most
competitive
years.
every game.
Yeah,
you're competitive every. Now he may play poorly in big moments or on prime time, right?
Yeah.
Like we understood what that was, but give me the 10, 11 wins that he was putting out.
And
I mean, for me, it's more the dependency. Like, he'd missed one start his entire time in Minnesota. That wasn't because they had already made the playoffs. It's because he had a positive COVID test.
And
so there's something to be said for that relative. Like, that guy's going to be there on Sunday.
Well, that was part of the DC fans' issue with Kirk, was that Kirk runs the offense better when Kirk runs early, when he personally pulls it down and gets in that space, because it turns Kirk into a different quarterback. Kirk doesn't want to do that because Kirk wants to stay. He wants to be in a lineup every day. So that's the catch-22 with Kirk, is he's going to play safe. He's not going to hurt you, but there are times when you need to put a Superman cape on and get to work, and he's just like, I'm just not that dude. Like, I'm just not that dude. So yeah, but I would take I would take the Vikings talent, but I would take the Bears head coaching job.
You said something interesting.
Oh, man.
You tell fans you just need to chill. Fans just don't chill.
No,
I'm thinking about
they're
Jake.
fanatics.
Yeah, ask Jake to chill about the Miami Dolphins.
No, Jake
He
could
doesn't
chill.
chill.
No, Jake could chill because I told him during the draft, the last 2 drafts, Jake, chill.
I didn't.
Jake, he didn't listen. He didn't listen.
I'll never listen.
Fans don't
I
chill.
told him they had a chance
Fans
to get
don't
Justin
chill.
Herbert.
Oh, man.
Justin Herbert. Well, you know what? Sometimes
I don't want. I was
Sometimes
wrong.
you need to tell fans what's good for them. Like, you know, look, there's no new rodeo.
Right.
Like, you cover sports all over the country, and you know, listen, fans, you're wrong way more than you're right. Chill.
Yeah.
I feel like
Jake?
you've known Jake for 2 years now. There's no chill.
That's right.
Never
That's
has
what I
been,
thought was
never will
interesting.
be.
That's
Well,
what I
he's
thought was interesting.
he's like the adopted puppy.
Well, the most chill
like-
that he can get is when he's 4 beers in at Garth Brooks.
Right,
And
like-
that's
I'm pretty chill.
That's
then.
when he can get chill.
Pretty chill.
Right, I
He'll feel fine.
I always feel fine after 425-ounce beers.
When you make him chug a wine at a Mannheim steamroller.
Yeah,
he's decidedly
chug
not
2
chill.
wine. That's right.
Oh, wow.
They're all terrible moments in my life. Why do you do this to me, Schaefer?
Oh, good
I try to block these moments out and bring them right back.
That's my role here.
They're forever, Jake.
All right.
They
Thanks,
are forever.
guys. Old School is up next for Steve Sipple and Mike Schaefer. I'm Jake Sorensen. See you.
Bagels and Joe is ready for winter with white chocolate raspberry